We're more of a mess around, find out.
That's right.
These days. So.
And for the longest time, it was a bit and a joke, and it turned into reality.
Well, if it makes you feel better, at least with these AI things, it's scouring the internet, so it can't do anything yet that it doesn't see. Everything is already, like, everything it's pulling from is either already happened or is something that it's grabbing from.
And you know what AI can't do is it can't predict what the best sports ball podcast in the world is going to be saying this, however many next minutes that we're going to be talking about sports and not the bleak reality of the future.
It doesn't need to predict anything.
Unless it's the bleak reality of our sports teams.
Then it might include that.
It doesn't need to predict anything because everybody that already listens to this, and including the AI tools that listen and look at us or whatever they do, they scrape all of our info and find out where we live and such, already know that this is the number one podcast in the world. We were the number one sports podcast, but Nate just declared a little bit ago that we are now the number one podcast.
Yeah,
just outright.
Ironically, not the number one sports podcast anymore, but we are the number one podcast. But just
the number one podcast.
Yeah.
So
I'm not sure how those numbers worked out, but
would it be safe to say that we're not just the Sportsball Podcast now? We're just the podcast. Like, if you're tuning in, you're just the podcast.
Yeah, we're just the podcast.
There you go. With that,
we'll still only talk about sports, but just
Maybe.
Who knows? We started off this one with AI.
The Social Network, when it was like the Facebook, and then Justin Timberlake was like, drop the, and then Jesse Eisenberg's like, whoa, what a great idea. Let's just steal that too.
And then they dropped Facebook.
Yeah, and then it's whatever it is now.
Well, technically, Facebook still exists, but now it's under the Meta umbrella, which loses like $34 billion a day or something. So
just like Max.
That doesn't sound.
Why wouldn't you want to be
now
alpha?
it's HBO Max.
Meta sounds like it's worse than beta, doesn't it? I mean, if you go by the categorical ranks, like, I would think alpha sounds superior. Meta sounds like it's worse.
But it doesn't sound as good as X, though.
But it's reversed because it goes alpha, beta, and so on. So
X.
X.
Brain computing.
Anywho, welcome back to the Sportsball Podcast after what, like 3 months now?
April, I think, was our last.
Yeah, basically then.
Yeah, math is in there somewhere.
So
time's real somewhere.
Yeah, I'm Zach. That's Andy. I don't know. I don't actually know if I'm pointing the right way. Whatever, doesn't matter. And that's Nate.
Point all which ways so that.
And that's Nate. Sorry, I don't know. It's been a minute since we've done this, so I don't quite remember how it all works. But anyway, we're back. How you been, boys?
It's been an off season in a sense. I'm pretty sure the last time we talked, the NBA NBA playoffs were just about to begin, and NHL was wrapping up, and MLB was just starting. And so now we've kind of concluded all the way through all of that leading up into now we're in the last dying days of training camp football preseason talk, getting revamped for the start of football season to begin, and now the collection of all the other fall winter sports that will accumulate over the next couple months here. But
MLB sounds like 8 more months ago, but
yeah, I mean, yeah. You think that from now to the end of September, we'll get to baseball in a second. There's just so much that can still happen of who's going to make the playoffs and who's not. I know the Rockies will not make the playoffs.
One of us.
You can put that on the list. The Rockies will not make the playoffs.
I know someone else that might not be making the playoffs too.
You can put 2 on that list.
Nate, was it the team that sold almost all of their entire active roster at the trade deadline? But one.
Stay tuned. Stay tuned. Find out.
We will get to that said aforementioned team here. I had it.
It might be the Twins.
Well, who's to say?
I said might. We don't know.
Yeah,
there's truly no way to know.
You'll have to stick around and wait for that answer. That's like our trivia question.
Minnesota streets are saying.
The streets might be rumbling.
Hearing the rumble.
Didn't realize
It's
they
not
got
just an
earthquakes
earthquake.
in Minnesota.
I mean, I had a pretty good off season, but that was for personal selfish reasons of my sports team. But it came at the expense of one of Nate's teams at the same time. But
it happens. It happens.
Stay tuned because we'll talk about that.
Stay tuned.
I figure then with that, being that I'm the one that has to run this on my computer now that I just remembered that's how it works, we can just start with MLB because there's a lot left. Yeah, I am the native tech, I guess, here.
You are the primary host, user, whatever you want to call it.
I was going to say, don't call me the primary host. That's not true. I'm just here. I'm one of the primary hosts. There are 3 of us.
You're right. We're all co-hosts.
I figure we can start with MLB because there's still quite a bit left. I mean, we're starting to, really figure out more who's who in the MLB, obviously. But as your Cards fan on this podcast, you want to talk about mid Cardinals for you. Had a really good May, and then ever since then they've just been kind of up and down and up and down.
Baseball is funny like that.
It really is, and I mean this is like thanks to Nate getting me into a random baseball league. I've actually been paying a lot more attention to it, so it's been successful in the sense of like, I watch more baseball. I understand more about baseball. But then with that comes the monkey's paw of, the team that I cheer for is the St. Louis Cardinals, and you want to talk about mediocre. It's a little rough.
It has been mediocre. Obviously, you are not the worst team. You are not one of the worst teams. There are plenty of other teams below you. One of those might be Nate's team.
To be fair, you're 4 games out of a wild card spot. Some other teams might be at least 10.
So here's the crazy thing. As of right now, if I'm counting this right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Okay, we're right on the edge. So the Cardinals are right smack dab in the middle of the overall league standings. So straight up, mid.
Yeah, you're almost 500. You're 2 games below that.
And what's
at
crazy
the time of this recording.
Yeah, and what's crazy, I mean, they're playing right now, and the game will probably be over or near over when we're done. But what's crazy to me is that it's just they're streaky, and I'll give them that. Like every once in a while, they'll go on a run. Mm-hmm. They haven't been necessarily hitting great runs in the sense of like they had a streak, I think in June or maybe early July, where they won like 9 in a row or something like that. They looked like they were solid, and then they just tanked from there. It has been fun to watch them. I mean, you don't really know it sounds like another famous team that I follow that we're going to talk about later. That's going to take up a large portion later, actually, that you never know what team's going to show up. So it's funny how like I thought we got away from that, and I just find myself in it in another sport. But you know what? They're interesting. I don't foresee it getting better in the next couple of years, though, even with bringing in new personnel. But we'll see.
Baseball is it's a very funny sport of how that can all work out. Just more in the sense of like you have an idea of who your top dogs generally are every single year. That would be the team. So a lot of money. And no salary cap. So you're California and New York teams, and that's about it. Everybody else fights for themselves.
Except for now, if you look at the top 3 teams in the league overall, it's none of those teams.
It is none of those. And it is one team in Wisconsin that absolutely refuses to lose, no matter how many runs they are down, and just keep winning. And I know every time like the Brewers have such a random weird comeback, I always text you guys like the Brewers just might not lose again, and they keep doing it.
Well, I think they've lost their last 2, but
the crazy part is like the Cubs are also like really good this year, and they're like 8 games behind the Brewers, and they're 71-54. So that just tells you how good the Brewers have been in their division all year round. And the Cubs are like, what, 5 games up in their wild card spot too. So like they're going to make the playoffs, but you would think like, a 70-win season, you're at least, the top of your division at this time of year. And they're like 8 games back of their division leader because the Brewers just keep winning and refuse to lose no matter how many runs. I mean, they were down 1-8 against the Reds a couple nights ago, and they came back and won that game. So
as expected.
I mean, that would be a really fun World Series to watch if they win it. I mean, I have no qualms against the Brewers. It probably helps that I don't have a National League team that I care for. So
we've all had the discussion though of as long as it's not the Dodgers
or the Yankees.
And the Yankees.
Yes. Everybody is fine with that.
I think everybody wins.
I think anyone else is free game.
Yeah.
Yeah, really.
Astros are a little.
Astros are still on that level of like, nah, we don't want them.
It's
but
been
like,
so long since that scandal came out, and yet everybody's like, no, we remember what happened. Like nobody likes you.
I would like to see Toronto. They came out. I shouldn't say they came out of nowhere. They were projected to be good.
Yeah.
But like there was that spot in the middle of the first half of the season where it was like, nah, are we sure? And then now they seem to be ramping it up. So.
Now they seem to be ramping it up. Yeah. But it's baseball is just a weird, funky sport like that. And it's so hard. Like, I hope the Brewers are there, but then I'm always like, you got to get through the Dodgers. And somehow the Dodgers will probably still try to claw their way back, no matter they've been mid like the past 15 or 20 games, whatever graphic I sent you guys.
Yeah.
They have since July 4th, they have the same amount of wins as the Rockies do, and the Rockies.
So they have one less
win. and I don't think the Rockies are going to eclipse what the White Sox, or like they will eclipse what the White Sox did last year. I don't think they're going to be on pace for. Oh, that was a kitten, Zach.
I know. He was supposed to stay out.
Yeah, well, he wanted to talk about. What do you have? Do you have any sports takes?
No, he ran out.
No, well, here's like baseball. I'm out of here.
Yeah, our cat Scooter is not a fan of baseball. Turns out.
The Rockies are still on pace to be the worst team in the league this year, but not White Sox level bad like we thought they were going to be. I mean, they were definitely on pace for White Sox level bad last year.
Now, hold on though, because the Rockies, while not playing great baseball, have been a little bit more on the up and up than the beginning of the season.
Yeah.
That's all I'm getting at there is that they've been a little bit better than they were. They could still eclipse the White Sox if they really go on some kind of random run.
They could. I mean, the White Sox were 41 and 121 last year, and the Rockies have 36 wins right now. So like
all I'm saying
the
is
Rockies pretty much have to exclusively lose out the rest of the way.
The Rockies have a run differential that is 20 runs higher than what the White Sox finished with last year.
They are minus 326 in their division.
We still have a month of the season to go.
That is such an insane number. Compared to the Brewers, who have a plus 166 run differential.
What's even crazier to me is not so much like the Brewers have a wild differential, but then the next closest one to them, who is not even, they're 6th overall, is the Cubs at 112.
Yeah.
So even though the Cubs have been playing really good too, they're still, like you said, they're not even leading in their own division.
No.
Because the Brewers are in their division.
It's just weird how baseball is like that. I mean, you can have a great year and another team's going to say, well, we're going to have a better year. And 70 wins at this point, like with a month, almost exclusively a month left to play in the regular season, you feel pretty good about your chances of making the playoffs. And yet here the Cubs are, they're solidly in the wild card position right now, but division titles are always cool. But the Brewers are like, we're just going to keep winning.
Nate, that's a perfect little segue that you brought up. Why don't you talk about your team, the Twins, for us?
There's a team in Minnesota.
Your owners decided not to sell.
That's awful generous.
So you'll have to remind me because I forgot. Didn't the Twins sell, quote unquote, like 2 months ago or something? Did they suddenly back out?
They've been trying to sell the team for like at least the last year and a half, and sounds like because they're terrible ownership in general, they were very stingy on what offers they were getting and wanted more out of the offers that were coming to them for the glorious team of the Minnesota Twins that I think we won our first playoff series 2 years ago, and that was like the first one in 20 years. So not exactly the great team to be buying into, and they were asking for more. And then they did what you usually do when you're about to sell the team, which is sell like all of your big contracts that you in theory are making more money when you sell the team. And then they decided they weren't going to sell the team. And everyone in the fan base hates them, and they just keep wanting to hurt us. So,
yeah.
Well, I tell you what, I can sympathize from a Cardinals fan that our ownership is also not great. I mean, we're not as in the doldrums, I think, as you as Twins fans, but it's still not great. So, I sympathize.
yeah, I think there was supposed to be some TV contract things that were supposed to be like allowing more local coverage of the Twins, and then they squashed that before the season because they wanted to make more money. So great times.
You guys, I mean, you had that incredible fire sale at the trade deadline and
sure did.
Got rid of a lot of people.
Sure did.
The joke was like you're actively trading away your active roster, and it's kind of a joke, but it wasn't really a joke because you were.
Yeah,
and you at least held up into the best prize possession that you had in Joe Ryan, even though the Red Sox were very aggressive in trying to get him.
The issue is like we have a fair amount of decent young prospects that are promising, but I do not trust that ownership group whatsoever to do anything positive with them. Because when we traded our reliever Duran to the Phillies, we got their top prospect catcher, and then we got their third prospect, really good pitcher. He just had 11 strikeouts in his AAA game the other night. So like the players are good. It's just that everything else above them it's not functioning correctly, which is ironically very Timberwolves-esque pre like 2018. So
Minnesota Sports Group ownership-esque altogether.
It's a lifestyle, actually. Not a good one, but it is a lifestyle.
It says a lot that when the Vikings are the most stable sports ownership group in Minnesota. Well, actually, probably the Lynx. I can't tell you much about the WNBA other than I know that the Lynx are ballers.
The Lynx is good. The Lynx have 5 losses on the season. Everyone else in the league has at least 12.
Yeah. So I know the Lynx are really good.
Pretty good.
And the Lynx top player has been out for the last 2.5 weeks.
Yeah.
And they're playing tonight, actually, against New York for the third time in the last 10 days, I think.
And the Timberwolves are getting to stability in terms of their ownership group too. So they're on the up and up. But
we finally got rid of the bad man.
That was the one. Okay, so it was the
Aaron Rodgers.
it was the T-Wolves. Okay.
He is a bad man.
I thought in my head
Taylor's up there.
In my head, I thought it was the Twins that had sold, and then apparently I read it as they reneged, and so I was like, that's not good.
That was kind of how the Wolves shook out, because they went into the deal with A-Rod and Laurie to buy the Wolves, and then they're like, "Ooh, wait, the Wolves are getting good and making more money. I retract."
Okay, so yeah, that was me then forgetting that the Twins were also in that realm.
Did the Twins not like our offer of some chips, some lint, some pennies in our pockets, and a couple of $50? Did they not take that offer?
I'm surprised they didn't. But I wouldn't have liked it.
Please, sir, may I have a sports team?
Probably because they were waiting on us to find the Patreon link, and we haven't
no,
yet.
We don't have to find it. We know where it's at. We need somebody else to find it.
The ownership group didn't want to look for it. That's probably why.
The ownership group was probably like, "What are these Patreons?"
Yes, exactly like that. Patreons.
Who is Pat Rion, and why are we looking for him?
Yeah. See another guy
player?
we can trade away.
Sir, no, it's a donation link. Donate my money.
Money.
No.
It goes
So,
in our-
hold on.
You.
You know how our running joke that we always say in our text group is, think of the billionaires. Do you think that they
Think of
look in the
poor
mirror?
billionaires.
Do you think of the billionaires look in the mirror and be like, think of myself? Just it's like
Think
staring at
Well,
each
it's
other.
like that
me,
one,
like-
the WikiHow meme where it's like,
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
You got to go out there.
You got to stake all your billions in this sports team. You're the
Think-
one that's going to decide it.
Think of poor
Push the
little
world
me.
economy for you.
If any one of us goes missing, it's probably because of this. So
Just think of the
Billionaires
billionaire.
got
here's
us.
the good news. Here's the good news is that if I get kidnapped, I don't have to work tomorrow.
Oh.
That's if it happens tonight. I guess I'm putting a lot of stake in getting kidnapped tonight.
So if
Ooh,
we
bad news
realize
is we're recording
that the
tonight.
episode
It
doesn't
doesn't go
release.
out till Friday.
yeah,
The listeners won't know. Ooh.
nobody will know to look for you but us too.
Yeah.
If you see me,
I
on
hope
a
I
milk
hope you don't go to a second location in those 72 hours, Zach.
I shouldn't. If you see me on a milk carton, though, you'll know what's up.
Start buying milk cartons this week then.
Yeah.
To look.
No. Next week. You might want to wait till
that's
next
okay,
week.
Next week.
Yeah, give me.
Yeah,
give me
they
basically.
updated and processed and then shipped out. Yeah, you're right.
Basically, give me. Also, thought that was kind of a crazy thing back in the day. Milk cartons being
Looking
for
lost
missing
children on milk cartons.
I get it. Like, oh, have you seen this person? Yeah, but like, how outdated is that milk carton?
Well, Zach, they didn't have the internet then.
Yeah. Talk about losers.
Milk was clearly the best way for information to travel.
And not the radio.
Or a newspaper.
I'm pretty sure
Or a
TVs
newspaper.
existed.
No.
The TVs.
TVs only came about when lazy millennials became adults.
Also, wasn't milk delivered in glass bottles anyways by the milkman? So like
Back in the days of not having avocado
so
toast.
weren't the milk cartons only for kids probably at school to begin with? And do you think those kids went home and said little Timmy's missing?
I mean, maybe, but like, what
Had
are
another
the
one.
chances? Like, what are the chances? I feel like the chances of getting that from a milk carton, while not zero, is still not very high above
Ooh,
zero.
Okay, here's the conspiracy. What if Big Milk was
Oh.
behind all the kidnappings and putting them on
drive
the
up-
cartons was a cover up to hide
Oh.
that they were the kidnappers? They're showing they're helping find the kids, but they're the ones actually taking the kids.
They're going to parents' homes. Hey, leave your kid here for a week. Act surprised when people are saying like, "Hey, we haven't seen little Timmy, and we're
Big
gonna pay
milk.
you to keep your kid quiet for a week. We'll
That
take
was
care of the homework."
when because they used with the glass bottles, you'd set them out like on your porch for the milkman to like
pick
switch
'em
'em.
back
You just,
up,
like, set
right.
the kid on the
Mhm.
porch, and
We might be
Please return to whoever this kid belongs to.
we might be getting into some of that questionable topic territory here.
I think we're onto something.
The husband comes home. Where's Timmy at? Oh, he went with the milkman.
Man.
Excuse me.
I returned him.
Oh, he's coming back on Friday. Don't worry. It's a rental.
Rent a kid.
Oh no
Oh,
no
oh no,
no no.
oh no. Only in only in houses that are white.
Oof.
But
Anyway.
Andy, your team also had a substantial trade that was not
our
as
ownership
catastrophic
our
as
ownership
Minnesota.
group loves giving out 7+ year contracts and giving out millions of dollars to only trade it away. if you
Are you saying you don't like that?
it's not preferred. If you're gonna trade him, don't give him the extension to begin with, but that's neither here nor there. So I guess thank you to the Giants for willing to take that on. It's so much has happened since then. I don't even remember when it happened. It was at least a couple months into the season. Because I remember texting you guys. I'm like, do you remember what the Red Sox love to do with franchise players? And your guys' answer was, yeah, trade them away. And I'm like, yeah, they did it again.
Wasn't that just a little bit before the deadline?
No, this was.
No, I thought it was like a couple weeks before the deadline.
Yeah.
Leading
It
up
was
to.
certainly after that. It was certain before the deadline.
Well,
It was after the deadline?
No, that's illegal.
That doesn't seem legal.
June 15th.
Oh, dang. Yeah. Okay. Because the deadline itself was
End of July.
the end of July, right?
Yeah. But anyways, a couple of years ago, the Red Sox gave like a 7+ year long contract extension to Devers, saying you're our franchise player. Notably, after they did this with Mookie and Chris Sale and Xander Bogaerts, years before that, tried to save face with the Red Sox fan to keep them on board for a little bit, and then they just went around and did it again.
Hey, if it makes you feel better about Mookie Betts, at least, Andy, I picked him for my fantasy team this year, so he's clearly washed because he hasn't been doing anything for me.
He's been hurt a little bit.
Wash.
Yeah, with that. So it has not bit them in the butt as much as I thought it was going to do. Because the whole big debate in the offseason was you signed Bregman, but Rafi was promised third base. So like that in and of itself already created a big divide between Devers and the ownership group. And I think they just probably had enough and said this is better for both situations to get him out of here. And just kind of move on, because Bregman was always going to be your third baseman. He was never not going to be. And so Devers played DH for a little bit, then got traded away. And now, since then, the Red Sox flurried up their prospects of Roman Anthony, Michael Marcello, Michael Mayer, I think. Marcelo Mayer. There we go. Marcelo Mayer.
Myers?
He hasn't played a lot. No, not Michael Myers. We are getting to that spooky season, though. Marcelo Mayer. He's been hurt. He got injured, so he's out for the year with a wrist surgery. But Roman Anthony has been everything that he's been promised and delivered as a prospect. So, and he just signed an extension a couple weeks ago to stay in Boston. So I'm very happy about him. The Red Sox overall, like I said, have not been as bad as I thought they were going to be. Bullpen is still a little leaky, despite picking up some prospects at the trade deadline. Although, thank you, Zach. Stephen Max or Marks or whatever his name was. Matt's, yeah. He's been good so far. I mean, he's only, I think, played 2 or 3 games, but he's been shut down reliever when he's come in for the Red Sox, so it's not been all that bad so far. But obviously the saving grace of the Red Sox pitching staff has been one Garrett Crochet, which is to no surprise. And they extended him earlier in the year, so I'm very happy that they got a very much like a Chris Sale replacement, considering how well Chris Sale has done this year too. So they've done well with that. They are still very much in the playoff race. I mean, even for the division race, I know they're 5 games out of first, but I mean, it only takes, like we see with the Brewers, it takes just a little bit of a run, and Toronto could have a series or 2 where they just kind of fall back, and all of a sudden you're looking at first place again. But they are, they're 5 games out of first. They're tied for the wild card, one of the wild card spots right now. So as long as they kind of stay playing just slightly above 500 baseball every single night, I think they'll make the playoffs. But again, that AL playoff push, I mean, Cleveland could go on a run. I mean, the Rangers are very much capable of going on a run. They've just kind of been like the Cardinals, mediocre this year. So who knows with them? I don't think I trust the Royals enough to say that they're going to go on a run, but who knows? They could. But as long as they kind of play above 500 baseball, I think the Red Sox will probably sneak in as one of the last wild card spots. Just their bullpen's a little leaky right now, so I'm not sure if they're going to get them. It's going to get them to the finish line, but we'll see.
I'm just hoping Big Dumper makes it in.
The Mariners. I mean, they could easily still win the division. I mean, Houston's kind of picked it up a little bit, but Houston's been slumping too. But the Mariners have also been slumping too. So it's like, which one of those teams is going to come out of the slump? But I feel confident. I mean, Mariners playoff baseball would be really fun to watch. I have nothing against the Mariners, and they
do it for Ichiro.
those crowd shots every time Big Dumper hits a home run look electric, and I can only imagine what that's going to be like in October when he's doing it in meaningful playoff games. So,
well, and at the rate he's doing it at, it'll be every damn game.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, right now I think he's my AL MVP, and then Schwarber for Philly has come out of nowhere. He definitely might be an MVP leading at the moment.
When you say came out of nowhere, I assume you mean this year?
This year, yes. No.
Okay, I was going to say, he's always been good.
It's like this year.
Okay, fair enough.
Because obviously Ohtani probably led all the preseason at like MVP hype, which is earned outside of his cheating allegations.
That didn't happen.
Well, it's because he used his bookie, and that his bookie got in trouble for what he probably was doing. Even though Ippei said he didn't know anything about Shohei doing it, I don't believe him.
No,
but
that was just his bookie.
Andy, your tinfoil hat's showing. You might want to put it back a little bit.
But yeah, it's playoff baseball is gonna be fun. I'm just hoping the Red Sox get there for the first time in like 3 or 4 years. But last baseball topic that I don't know if you guys had saw a couple nights ago, stupid Manfred was talking about the expansion and realignment of MLB. And I don't know how I feel about it, because I don't care if teams get expanded. It's the realignment part that I'm a little iffy
I think
on.
the expansion is fine. The realignment, and this is coming from somebody that's, not as ingrained into like the whole baseball tradition in terms of like NL, AL type things.
Mm-hmm.
But I was reading it and I'm like, or like reading his ideas and I'm like, expansion's fine. Like bring in more teams. That's great. And, if the realignment makes sense in a way, I guess I can see it, but I'm like, I don't know. I don't know because the rumor is that he wants to get rid of like the whole AL, NL and do like East West.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know. That just seems weird to me.
And make it, I've seen a lot of like different mock-ups of what regional teams could look like based on divisions type, whatever you want to call it. And just like it probably just is because that's what we've grown up with so long, that it's always been American and National League teams, that like any sort of like intermixing of permanent American and National League teams would feel weird, because we're so ingrained to like, when your American team plays a national team for a series, it's like, this doesn't happen that often because they don't play that often. Now that was years past. Now they play, twice a year, every year with the new scheduling. So like, it's now more common, but like, I remember years ago when, Boston never played like the Dodgers or the Diamondbacks, or like teams that you don't typically play. And it's like, this is cool to see Boston in Arizona, or, Arizona coming to Fenway, teams that don't typically get to play at these places every single year. It would take some adjustment to get used to like, a division where it's like Boston, the New York teams, and Philly, maybe Toronto, just based on regionality as a division up there, because it's regional. And it's like, that take a lot of getting used to, of like, you're not used to playing Philly and the Mets every single year. And then vice versa for however else you wanted to divide it up regionally. So I guess I could get on board with it. It would take some time to get used to, but at the same time, I also like it how it is, because that's what we're accustomed to at the same time.
This is also the same league that has the technology to be like, that's a ball, that's a strike. And they still use a human.
And then they don't use it.
That's the human is like, it's something in there. We don't know. So
I love seeing now all the, what ABS would say on a strike that was called a ball, or a ball that was called a strike, and that it screws that at played at bat, or it screws like a big clutch time moment. It's like the ump missed this because this was a strike according to the ABS, but it was called the ball. And people are really getting on Manfred about that. Now, whether he'll actually implement it in real-time games, I don't know. I still think there needs to be some sort of human element to baseball. But
yeah, it's called the players.
Well, yeah.
I believe that the players are still human. So
with the umpires, Zach.
Bah. You didn't specify. You just said, I still think there needs to be some human element.
Yes, I do want humans playing the sport. You're right.
However, the team that can build the best robot baseball team, I'm intrigued.
Yes. Probably the Dodgers because they have the money.
Probably the Dodgers. Actually, Nate, did you hear anything about this? Because I just found a little like graphic that kind of explained it. So I was going to pull it up.
No, this is actually my first time hearing about it, so I'm trying to skim the ESPN.
Oh, look at that. Well, here, let me.
I did see that history of MLB expansion teams feels like the right climate to bring back the Houston Colt 45s.
And that's like
Fair enough.
That's been the argument too. It's like if you're going to like realign right now or like even consider it, you might as well add the teams you want to add and then realign. Don't just add teams, wait, and then realign. Like just do it all at once.
No. Make it as weird as possible.
Which is what his idea is right now.
Add teams first, make it uncomfortable, and then shake it up after so everyone is upset.
Because I mean, I'm obviously biased with Boston, but like that division of the Mets, Yankees, Phillies, and Red Sox would be an absolute total chaos of who is going to be the best. Because those teams typically on most years are usually near the top of their divisions, if not top of their like leagues, almost every year. That's like
Zach and I would be in the same division though.
I mean, if you compare it to the SEC, that's just like putting Georgia, Alabama, Tennessee, and like Texas in a division by themselves every single year, and saying one of these teams is going to win it.
SEC, according to you.
Yeah, so we'll get to that.
I mean, according
Don't you
to this,
worry.
So, unfortunately, for anybody that listens to this audio only, you're not seeing this graphic, but there is a graphic that I found from Reddit that is describing this. But Nate, we would not be in the same.
Oh, ESPN says we would be.
Well, I think this might just be an example. I don't know if this is actually what
you want to look at.
I was going to say, I don't think this is his actual. This I think is somebody from the posts that did it. Because you've got a Nashville team in here in Portland, and I don't even think actual teams have been discussed in terms of like, no. I'm sure they have in the sense of like, these are places that they could go, but I don't think they've actually talked anything about that.
No, I think those like the Nashville, Portland are just like two proposed cities.
Which I think
I'm not surprised that Nashville would be one of the first ones talked about. I mean, they're big enough to sustain.
Go to Omaha.
Omaha would also be a great choice.
I think Omaha would be great. I mean,
you just can't play home games for like 2 weeks of the year in June. No. But outside of that, you can do whatever you want.
We would have to play home games so that way we can see how every other team deals with corn sweat.
Oh,
I mean, Kansas City can't be that far removed.
So you would have an 11 a.m. CWS game, do the 2:30 like MLB game, and then the 6:30 CWS game.
Dude,
all in a day.
Well, I would assume if they were going to bring an MLB team to Omaha, that'd be its own field somewhere.
Probably
no. They also share the field with Creighton.
You would also share with Creighton.
I don't know. I still think Omaha would be a great market for a pro team. I mean, I guess we technically have pro volleyball now, but we have two pro volleyball teams now. So
I've always said hockey, I think, would be Omaha.
Hockey would be great too.
I think Omaha would be hockey's best bet to get a pro team.
Just as long as they don't submit the Lancers as the pro team, they should be fine.
That wouldn't be the Lancers.
I'm just saying, if that's what they said, to be like, hey, we'll submit the Lancers as the pro team, the NHL would be like, no.
I mean, and it's you already got a 18,000 arena in Omaha. You need a team to put in it, whether it's basketball or hockey. Basketball will probably be a little bit harder to sway because small markets don't make money, but. I rest my case.
We're proving that wrong.
We are.
But here's Nebraska would be a small market. I don't disagree with that. However, with how we show up for like Nebraska games, if we got a team in here that was pro that was decent,
Just give us
that
anything pro. We'll support.
honestly, I feel like people would be showing up to that left, right, and center.
The equivalent of our pro team right now is Husker athletics or Creighton basketball, depending on how you want to view it. But I mean, that's the equivalent right now of what we show up for is anything Husker athletics or Creighton basketball as the pro equivalent of the state.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think while we might be a small market, I think the market exists.
And they sell out the pro volleyball games already, so it's like
those are selling out.
Yeah.
Holy hell, I didn't know that.
Yeah. Supernovas are a big draw.
Volleyball state, Zach. Come on.
Yeah. I mean, I know that, but like, still, to me, like college volleyball makes total sense because Nebraska's good at it. So like, my brain goes, yeah, that makes sense. But like, pro volleyball is just something I've never thought about. It's kind of similar to like pro bowling. Like, I just don't think about it. Like, these make perfect sense to me as college sports, but then after they're out of college, I'm like, I don't think doesn't cross my brain.
Pro bowling is electric, though.
I mean, their season opener last year drew roughly 13,500 people. I mean, that's just pro volleyball. If you got like an actual NHL or NBA franchise in here that could pour money into the city even more, you could absolutely sell out those games
easily.
And I'm not saying that the Pro Volleyball League couldn't do it. It's just it's so new in the league of itself as a startup
that that's more what was that was more the surprising part to me was that it was so successful on numbers
as a startup league,
as a startup,
it's getting money poured into versus a like a league that's already established like the NBA or the NHL that has a lot of money already that it can just pour into. But that's not baseball.
I agree. But that's not baseball. That said, there's still a lot of baseball left.
I'm done with my baseball talk. Playoffs are coming up soon.
Yeah.
I've been done with my baseball talk since
it's the trade deadline.
April.
Let's see.
I don't think
was this over? Was this over when was NHL over when we
No, the playoffs were starting, but it's not a surprise of who won either. So it was a rematch of Edmonton and Florida, and I'm not surprised that Florida won again.
Yeah,
Florida. Canada just next year.
Can't get over the hump, even when you have one of the best players in the league, Conor McGregor.
I think
for sure.
I think that. Wait a minute. When did Conor McGregor start playing hockey?
I'm Googling it. I couldn't tell.
I mean, I'd watch that.
I mean, yeah. Honestly, I think he's got like there you go.
That's what boxing is missing. Ice.
Conor McGregor.
And in this corner, Conor McGregor.
Which
I do think
terrified if he was on skates too.
I mean, yeah, I think isn't he like
you can't punch in hockey.
Conor McGregor's he's not. I'm talking tall when I say he's a big dude, yes, but like he's not very tall. I think he's like 5'10", isn't he?
Right.
So I mean, he'd probably be okay at hockey. I think he's got the athletic build. Weird, because he hits other people for.
He's 5'8".
He's 5'8".
Yeah.
Wow.
Tiny.
Probably fast as hell on skates though.
Fast as fuck, boy.
It's a speed demon.
Oh, what was I gonna say though? But I think not Connor McDavid wasn't even about them. I think it was about Carolina, where they got to the playoffs and then did what Carolina's done the last like 3 years, where they go like go down 3-0 immediately.
Everybody's like, it's different this year. No, it's not.
It's so funny because I was like, I'm actually going to watch more playoff hockey. And then I just never got much of the chance to. But I would tune into their games for some reason. I would see them on. And I'd be like, I know how this is going to end. But maybe if I watch this one, it'll be different. It didn't. It didn't work out.
I didn't watch much of the finals this year as I did last year in terms of Edmonton versus Florida Part 1. I think it still went 7 games, if I remember correctly, or at least 6. So. It wasn't as entertaining this time around because they just kind of had that sinking feeling of it's Florida again,
we go
more than
again.
likely.
Well, didn't Florida lead off like 2-0 in it?
Yeah.
So I mean,
it just Connor McDavid, I think, is going to turn into like a Carmelo, Iverson, Russ, Harden type player where they're going to be one of the best in the league that just never wins. Or like Charles Barkley, like just guys that were so good but just never won. And Connor McDavid's had 2 shots at it and he's lost both of them. Back-to-back years. So he might be trending towards that.
Going for the 3-peat?
It could very well happen next year. I mean, I don't follow Edmonton that much until the playoffs, but there's a chance that it could
Buffalo
happen.
Bills then.
Well, that one's pretty impressive. I mean, 4 in a row, not win a single one of them is pretty darn impressive.
They can do it. I believe.
Well, you can do it. It's really hard to do it, but you can. It's been done.
We're probably going to be seeing it again, so let's be honest.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sticking with the Predators this year, the team. So
I'm sure the Wild will be playing hockey at some point. So
hey, man, they started off hot last year. So
yeah, then
everyone
got injured. Everyone got injured.
Yeah,
the wagon. We lost every wheel on the wagon.
The axle
the wheels were just stolen.
I remember for the longest time, every now and then I would just get a wagon update, and it would either be Nate celebrating or just be a dumpster fire of a gift that he would send.
I think the best part had to be, though, like there was a certain period of time where it's like, I'm not going to even look at the wagon because they're doing so well. And then as soon as the wheels exploded, he was like, oh, okay, I can watch it now.
I can watch it now. Everything's already fallen off.
This time. We're good. We're good.
Well, is what it is. So we'll come back to the NHL eventually. So
when it starts
that season?
Again,
October?
Probably.
Preseason starts in September, doesn't it?
God, it's just like the NBA. Oh,
pretty much because the regular season starts early October, I think.
God.
Is it early October? I'm looking it up. I want to say October 7th.
Just finished.
Because it was like a couple weeks later when the NBA starts.
No. Boy.
Yeah, I'm excited because I'll be home in October. So
yeah, you will
watch that. Moving on, though.
Not going to be busy at all.
No, not at all.
Not at all.
Yeah, we're gonna be busy watching sports, baby.
Yeah, with maybe a third person, but who's to say?
Who's to say? Streets are saying. All right, Andy. Time to take the floor.
Yes, if we recall, the last time we did talk was right before the playoffs started.
And if we also recall, I'm going to basically sit this one out because the Suns didn't deserve to be there. They didn't make the playoffs.
Until we get to the offseason talk when we need to talk about your team.
Yeah.
Because they actually did do something this offseason.
They did. So we'll see.
It was actually a massive offseason thing.
Could be an interesting year next year. But let's get to the big news of yours because that's far more exciting than Phoenix Suns basketball.
If you don't know by now, 2 months? Roughly about 2 months ish or so. The NBA champs are here. The 2025 Oklahoma City Thunder are your 2025 NBA champs.
For those that are only listening on audio, Andy just flipped off the camera. So everybody that's listening, he just flipped.
And it was
all of
personal.
You off.
It was exactly at you.
And it was a bright red face, like he looked angry. So
just angry with passion. No, it was a very fun year overall. The hindsight 2020 overall view of the season, it was one of the more memorable Alex seasons that I do recall watching. I mean, the 2020 bubble was a very, very weird year, obviously, of everything else that happened in the world. But that playoff in the bubble was also very weird at the same time. Just there was no crowd noise when you're winning a championship, and I don't know if you can ever beat that environment again, but I'm sure Alex appreciated it this time around with actual fans and home court advantage. So It was a fun year. I enjoyed it a lot. It was like I always go back to what Nate said very beginning of the season last year is as long as the Thunder stayed healthy, they were going to win it all. And I mean, they did have some injury concerns, obviously, notably losing Chet for a good
Chet and his
portion of
old
that middle
man
chunk
hips.
as a spry, 24-year-old. What? But the Thunder persevered, got him back, and then Chet still had a monster of a year despite breaking a hip. uh Coming back from that, but it was a very fun playoff. Obviously I got into my fandom emotions of we're gonna win, no we're gonna lose, no we're gonna win, oh we're gonna lose again, over and over again. But that's sports, that's what we live for. I will say I was very nervous because Indiana just, man, if you have voodoo magic on your side, what do you do with that? It's
They
hard to
were
beat that.
they, they were so in it until
Until Halliburton's
the
Achilles
Achilles
exploded.
popped around the world.
I'm going to be
That
honest. It also looked like Indiana, if they would have had Halliburton, they might have taken it.
that game 7, would have been a lot closer to the end. I mean, it was still a fairly close game for the majority of that until the very end, um, because of
I
freaking
think they were
TJ
leading going into
McConnell.
halftime or something.
God,
Also, to
there's
answer your
another face I don't
question,
ever want to see again is TJ McConnell.
to answer your question, Andy, when you have voodoo magic, what do you do with it? Apparently, you make the Super Bowl. Don't know if that applies here,
You do, and you
but
beat the Chiefs. That's what happens.
the Eagles weren't the ones with the voodoo magic. If we're being honest here,
No,
they just stayed
no.
healthy all year.
Yeah, which is fairly important come playoff time, if you think about it. So, but yeah,
Weird.
the entire playoffs on the East side, I'm like, the only team that I do not want the Thunder to meet is Indiana, and that's just the way that the series was going for all of Indiana's series that they played. I'm like, they look really good, and that was the one team I didn't want to meet for that exact reason of how the finals played out. Of they're gonna steal games and they're gonna win games just by voodoo magic. And really, the only game that they did steal was game 1, I think, because I think the
Yeah,
other games were pretty decidedly the
that
rest
was
of
a
the way.
game-winning shot by Halle.
Yeah, by Halliburton. I think every other game was just a domination by one team or the other. I don't think there was another close game after that. Up until like probably the third quarter of game 7. I mean, that game was fairly close the entire game until like the Thunder pulled away like they do with every single game that they did this year. But yeah, it was a fun series, fun season. Excited for them to run it back again because that's exactly what they're going to do. They gave extensions to all 3 of their big 3. That's going to be a next year problem when they have to deal with it. But let's enjoy run it back season and see what happens.
I mean, honestly, yeah, you guys have a perfectly young, underpaid's not the right word, but like a young enough roster where you don't have to pay them yet.
Yeah,
So like
and
next year
their
should be really
extensions
good.
don't kick in until next offseason.
So yeah, next season after next,
then I have to make decisions.
Then you might see a little downturn in.
Notably, Isaiah and Dort are probably going to be the 2 biggest ones you look at, because their contracts are going to be up, and that's when Shea, Chet, and J-Dub's extensions all kick in next year. So, that's a next year problem. It's not a this year problem. They're going to run it back with the exact same roster. They really didn't do anything other than a couple of their very low end role players that got traded, and their draft picks. They're just probably going to plug right in and call it good. A lot of the bench and the starting for the Thunder are going to be the exact same as it was all of last year. So just like Nate has always said, as long as they stay healthy, it's going to be tough to not pick them again, or at least be favored to win.
Your boy knows ball.
The one thing I will say about the NBA, though, and I'll give the NBA credit, is that it seems like there's usually some parity. So they could still make a run, but
it is
magic
harder.
Happens.
It is harder now in this day of basketball than what we saw with, like, obviously the Lakers and Celtics back in the 70s and 80s. I mean, even Golden State's run still was, I mean, it was great in the sense of like, we haven't seen this before, but it's still a little shocking in the sense of like, they were able to sustain it for that long too. And even with LeBron dragging Kyrie and JR the entire way throughout all of his time in Cleveland.
Hey, I mean, Kyrie
That meme
held
is
his
never gonna
ground, but
die.
yeah, everyone else.
Yeah. Yeah, Kyrie was still a little bit younger then and still able to ball. I mean, he still can
Kyrie
ball
had
now.
that
He's
game
I was
just
gonna
winning
older.
say,
shot. Well,
Kyrie
once his
is
ACL
like,
heals.
Yeah.
he's like, for, I know this doesn't really usually mean anything, but like in the 2K26 ratings that they released here not too long ago,
Mhm.
Kyrie was the highest for like handles or something, which
Mhm.
I'm sure he's still good. I'm not dismissing that, but like, it's crazy to see that he's still the top player when like he's old as he is.
Right.
I mean, he's not ancient by any means. He's not LeBron ancient yet for NBA players, but like, I saw that and I was like, what? But fair enough.
It was, yeah. But to wrap up the Thunder, it was a fun season. Sorry that it did come at the expense of knocking the Wolves out of another Western Conference Finals, Nate. But
Hey,
like I told you, it's reassuring that you've gotten there 2 years in a row.
as I say, we got our 24-year-old start at the Western Conference Finals 2 years in a row
Yeah.
with
A manageable
an
roster.
interesting roster.
It's the fact that like you've just run into two juggernauts in a sense on your way to the finals, and
Yeah.
you now need to be the juggernaut if you're gonna take that next step.
Yeah, I'm curious how the season shakes out, 'cause we didn't really make a whole lot of moves in Minnesota. And I mean, Ant going into his year 24 season, Mike Conley, the point guard position is really our biggest question mark. Because Mike Conley's 37. He's on the last year of his contract, and really his only backup is Rob Dillingham, and he's like 180 pounds soaking wet.
I mean,
I think he
it'll be
turned 20
fine.
this year, so like he's
it is kind of like the
young,
same,
small guard, but
right? It is kind of the same situation that like I noticed like throughout the playoffs of like with Denver or with OKC. It's like when Jokic sits or when Shea sits, like what are those not minutes of your
Mhm.
star guard on the floor? What do those look like? And can you sustain a lead, or can you just like sustain momentum to keep you like so that Ant can get some rest and then get back in? What does that backup guard look like? Is he able to sustain the lead or just keep you in the game so that when Ant's ready to come back in, things can go back to like, him scoring and everything like that.
The
Which
ironic
is,
thing was like our our second unit largely outplayed our first unit.
yeah. Oh, I know that.
Yep. It just gets a little clogged with Rudy, Julius, and Ant all trying to do
Yeah.
things in the paint. And hopefully, I mean, we're hoping Dante doesn't shoot like historically bad from 3-point range like he did in the
Yeah.
playoffs this last year. And I'm excited to give Terrence Shannon Jr. a little extra run.
That I will agree is you guys probably the biggest thing that I did notice was like, when Rudy, Julius, and Ant are all on the floor, it's like trying to figure out the spacing, the movement, like offensive movements that you guys want to run. And that was, when Chet came back during the season, that was going to be the first time him and Isaiah had played on the same floor in the regular season. It's like, how are you going to run it too big when you've never done it before? And you just learned it as you go on through the regular season and into the playoffs. So it's kind of got to be the same way in Minnesota. It's like you guys just either have to commit to something or try something different that involves a lot more pick and roll action or screen action with either Julius or Rudy. Because Rudy's really good at the pick and roll. You just
that's
don't
Rudy's
do it a
bread and
lot.
butter. Pick and roll, and then just rim protect.
Yeah,
He's
and
a beast at those two things, and not a whole lot else. But he's very good at what he can do.
and with Ant handling the ball, it's like you could easily either dump that to Rudy or Ant can just shake and bake and score.
And, well, that was kind of the issue. Was just the perimeter shooting last year was not good.
Yeah.
So like, usually, I mean, you either have the guy come up and you dump it off to your perimeter shooter, or they go under the screen and Ant could take his 3-point shot, which he was shooting better than Steph Curry last year. Wild
Just
for a
saying something,
24-year-old to
Curry's
do that was not considered a 3-point shooter coming into the league.
And for those that don't
Um,
know, Steph Curry's pretty good at the 3 ball.
yeah, he's all
I
right.
think he might be known for it, actually, if we're being honest.
Some might say, kind of revolutionized the modern 3-point shooting game.
Yeah, when he
But yeah,
casually just takes one from half court like it's nobody's business.
And drains it. Yeah.
right. But no, that was kind of the issue. Was even in the playoffs, you could see Ant was like making the right decision, like taking what the defense would give him. Like if he had the open shot, he'd take it and make that move or dribble into the paint. But guys just weren't making a lot of shots around him. And there was there's optimism. Jaden has played 2 really good the past 2 years in the playoffs, and there's hope that if he can just get some consistency, that'll really help. And we Nasri's coming back. I mean,
that's a big one too.
I'm excited to see the next like year or two with Rudy and Julius around, and then once they get into like the young core, it'll be Ant, Jaden, Nas, and then hopefully Rob, Dante, and like Terrence Shannon. I'm very curious to see what that looks like. That just seems like it's going to be a very fast-paced fireball team. And
it's going to be something.
The future is exciting, and even these next couple years, I'm interested to see, because even if you remember, like when Rudy first was traded here, and he and Kat that first year didn't work. Did not work. And then even into the second year, it took about halfway through the season before things kind of really clicked. But that was when they made the Western Conference Finals, and they were, neck and neck with OKC and Denver for the #1 seed. And so there's some hope that, maybe bringing in Julius and Dante right before training camp may have been a quick turnaround for everyone involved. So hopefully a little familiarity from everyone. Maybe you can get some big things going. We'll see. The West is going to be just insane overall. Yep. So I'm excited just for
anymore. It always
is basketball.
And I mean, speaking of the West, I mean, the biggest, I think, offseason thing that happened for the West this year was involving Zach's team. That you guys finally kind of restructured your roster. Yeah.
Thank God.
I don't know how you might have missed it. If you did miss it, Kevin Durant, this basketball player that's supposedly a big name, got traded off of Zach's team.
Yes.
To another contending team in the West of Houston.
The Rockets.
Yes.
Yeah. And you know what? I don't know quite exactly what Phoenix is doing, if they're taking like this year to try to figure out who they want. It seems very much like a positionless style of basketball that they're going for, within reason, obviously. Like they have bigger dudes and smaller dudes for those types of roles, but it seems very much like they're going for fluidity or whatever you want to call it. But they got rid of Kevin Durant and they picked up, Dylan Brooks was one of them. And then Jalen Green was the other one. Those are the 2 big names. And I don't hate those. I mean, I know they're not like barn burner players, but they're not bad. And I think the biggest question mark is how do they fit in the system? But we don't know, because we don't know what the new head coach is gonna run. So the Suns have a new head coach. They fired whoever the last one was. I don't even remember his name now.
Budenholzer.
That's his name. Thank you. And then I think I was more excited. This is the first time I've been excited about an NBA draft for my team forever, because they acquired Mark Williams from the Pelicans, or was it the Hornets?
He's the Hornets.
That's right. He was the Hornets. They got him, and then they got I'm probably going to butcher this name, Kamen Maluwach. They got him. And then, God, who's the other guy that they got? Thank you.
Rasheed Fleming.
Yep.
I was upset because Wolves traded the first and the second round. Their first pick of the second round to you guys.
Also, the way that the NBA does it, like with the trades and stuff, is so weird. Like it'll tell you it'll tell you at the bottom. Like, well, so in this case, the part of the Houston trade was that they got that the Suns got picked number 10, but he technically went to the Rockets, and then from the Rockets was traded to the Suns. But at the bottom, the graphic would tell you it's like, oh, trade goes to Suns or whatever, or like player picked goes to Suns. I'm like, why don't they just formally do that? like in the
I think
NFL
it's because
draft,
the trades couldn't happen until after the league year turned to the next season. So technically, Houston was making the pick and then trading that player to you because you couldn't complete the transaction for Kevin Durant until
it is weird.
That just seems stupid.
Which is just like maybe have the draft like 3 days later. I don't know.
That's what I was thinking. But whatever. Anyway.
I do remember when that trade happened, is because you would think as a league, it's game 7 of a finals. Like all of your attention focus should be going into, this is the best thing you could ask for. Game 7, winner take all. You're going to crown a champion after this. And then that morning, KD drops, I'm getting traded to Houston. So it's like, and then everybody's focusing about that and not the game 7 that you should be focusing on as a league in general. But it's KD's got the Aaron Rodgers mentality of, I got to make it about me.
You know what
on
really
the biggest day of the year for the NBA.
Here's the difference that I'll give Kevin Durant, though. He's still a good player. I mean, he's old, so he's not as good as he used to be, which is expected, but he still played really good basketball for the Suns. It's just, he was to me, he seemed like such a distraction elsewhere, where he'd be on Twitter calling out people like that are hating on him. It's like, who cares, dude? What are you doing?
He is a really good burner.
It is funny, but it's just like, dude, like, come on.
He is a real good trash talker. I'll give him that.
Then the other thing that did finally happen is Bradley Beal
could be
is finally off the team too. So this next year for the Suns could be a down year in the sense of like they probably aren't necessarily. I don't think they're going to do bad. I think it's going to be a finding out like what works best for them and finding out a system. So it's going to be a learning year. But I think right now, like odds makers have them losing or winning no more than like 31 games. And I'm like, I don't know. I think it could be higher than that, but we'll see. It'll be interesting.
It will be. It's obviously, this is just, there's still going to be, I don't know if there's going to be a lot that's going to happen. I mean, right now it's just going to be them training and gearing up for preseason for October and September.
Yeah.
And everything. But
when does the NBA tip off, like officially?
Sometime in the middle of October.
That's what I thought.
October 21st with Houston OKC.
Ring night where they're going to make KD watch Oklahoma City get their rings.
That's what he gets for announcing his trade on the day of the finals.
Yeah.
I think the other one, not only that,
there's credit. They know what they're doing.
Not only that was announced like while he was giving an interview in front of a bunch of people, or like
doing
like a Q&A session. I was like, that is hilarious. Like he didn't even know about it until it was announced by the person interviewing him for this Q&A thing. I was like, whatever.
Yeah.
If anything, that and then the Bradley Beal thing had to happen though for contract or money purposes, because the Suns, shocker, spent way too much. And that was really the last thing I wanted to end on is like, I gave the owner of the Suns, Matt Ishbia, a lot of crap last year, which I didn't watch the Suns because I was like, this is such a shitty team. I'm not putting up with this. But I got to give him at least a little bit of credit. He put people in place. I think he finally on the front. I can't speak of what's going on behind the scenes, obviously, but at the front, it looks like at least that he's like, okay, I got people in place that seem to know what they're doing, because he got the guy in charge of doing the drafts and everything, and I can't remember his name right now. Having a real tough time with that right now, it seems. But the draft went well. People were really stoked about what they picked up. He's got people in place. I think he's just letting them do their job. I'm sure he has input, as many billionaires tend to do. But at least it seems like he's like, hey, I took a shot. It didn't work. Now we're going to try and rebuild it. And so I'm excited to see what happens. I say that now. I'm sure come middle of October, probably come the middle of November, I'll be be like, oh, this sucks. But it'll be interesting to see, because the one thing that scares me too is Devin Booker's not getting younger. He's not old yet, but he's not young. So I don't. Right, and I'm hoping that we don't waste his prime years. But I think he's only 28, so it's not like he's ancient yet.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see.
All right. With that, should we start talking about the season that's actually going to be starting here soon?
NCAA basketball.
Which one is that?
Yeah, I was going to say, which one are you technically? Actually, you know what? We'll just touch on this. I think we can save NFL for maybe another week.
Yeah, because that's not going to start before Nebraska starts.
No. Spoiler alert. Then
season's going on, and that's the only meaningful football.
I mean, it's football.
I will say I've watched more preseason football than I ever have in my life because it's been on. So
it's meaningful for guys trying to make the roster, but that's about it.
I mean, some preseason football was used in Rich Eisen's return to SportsCenter after 22 years.
It was.
So it's not totally meaningless.
There's nothing else going on but baseball.
I had to watch preseason football when they cut into the last minute of the Lynx Liberty when it was a close game.
I do remember you were pissed.
So that was stupid.
Well, okay, so
49ers Raiders in the preseason, or the top two teams in the WNBA in a 2-point game with 1 minute to go. You choose. Also, the 49ers Raiders game isn't even going to start until that game is over. You choose.
That's well. So what? Funny you say that.
It's fine.
Was I think Saturday when Denver played their preseason game, their second one. And game time said it like 8:30, but on the NFL Network it said 9:00. And I go, okay, so which one is it? And the game going on currently on the NFL Network at that time was Jets and Giants. And when Denver, they did start at 8:30. When Denver kicked off, they just did a quad box or like a duo box of the Jets and Giants and Broncos Cardinals at the same time. And I'm like, that's great and all, but like, I don't care for the Jets and Giants at this point. So either move the game to 9:00 or don't say it's going to be on the NFL Network until the game starts. Like, why? It's a stupid reason. And it's preseason football and no one should really care anyways, but that just made me think of that. I'm like, why was it scheduled like that in the first place?
Andy, we've talked about this. Think of the billionaires.
You're right. Think of the billionaires.
I don't quite know exactly how that comes to play here, but just think of the billionaires.
Somehow, some way.
Just think of the ad revenue from having 2 different games to have play ads on
at the same time.
You guys are crazy. Are you telling me that there's football in these ad breaks that we have? There's football that happens in these string of ads.
You got to look real closely. You'll miss it if you blink. But
if you watch Scott Hansen, you don't see any of that at all.
For now,
too bad that's going away too.
Yeah, I know. It'll be okay.
Real quick though, can we talk about how I know it's not going to change, and I know complaining about it's not going to do anything, but can we just all collectively talk about how excited we are for the score, point after, commercial, kickoff, commercial, then the play? Because that's the best thing in football is after the touchdown and the point after. Is the 2 sets of commercials that come with a kickoff in the middle of it,
and then commercial, and then they start the offense.
And to the people that are out there that are like, hey, sometimes they just
think of the billionaire.
They put it well. No. What I was gonna say is, sometimes they put it while the special teams is coming off and offense is coming on. They put it on the side, so then your commercials over here, and you can keep watching the game. It's the same concept. It doesn't change a thing. So don't come at me with that.
They do that with golf all the time. Now, granted, golf is a sport that you can actually get away with it, but NBC and like CBS will do like the playing through, where they'll zoom out, they'll still show the golf action, but then your commercials are the audio portion. They'll play the commercials, and then they'll zoom back into the golf. And it's like, I mean, you can get away with it in golf. Like football, basketball is a little bit harder to get away with because you need. Like,
I mean, they do it for
action.
free throws in basketball.
Yeah, they do.
But it's like,
which is insane.
I shouldn't question the billionaires, but are they hurting that much that they need to cut into free throws to send another ad?
So this is my follow up to that then. So I don't like to complain if I feel like there's a solution to it, and I think there is, but it would come at the cost of jerseys and fields. But I think they should start putting sponsors and stuff on the jerseys to an extent. I'm not saying get rid of all of the commercials, but if you can put, I know, but if you can put logos on there that don't look so out of place, which is kind of impossible with how it goes.
I mean,
but
the
then
NBA
you can at
already
least take
does
some of the commercials away from like the on
NFL's probably
product.
NFL might not actually have to do it because they're the biggest money maker of any sport in the world.
Which
they might be all right with it.
Exactly.
I mean, college football is probably going to go to it at some point now that we're in the NIL era.
The NFL era.
Yeah, NFL.
It's like AAA for NFL.
For the NFL, yeah. I would not be surprised if colleges start doing that. And I wouldn't be surprised like once. I mean, we can transition to college football.
See, that's a brilliant segue.
Good segue.
And this is kind of like whenever.
Even though we were not planning on talking about ad revenue for teams.
Even though Memorial Stadium is going to go through a renovation at some point. Dan has made that clear. No timetable on it yet, but there will be renovation to the stadium at some point. I would not be surprised at that same point if they like sell naming rights like they do for like major league stadiums or like other stadiums. It'd be like, Farmers Cooperative at Memorial Stadium. Like they're going to sell the name of the stadium, like TD Ameritrade, for example. It's like I don't think there's another name for the ballpark in Omaha, but like it's TD Ameritrade Ballpark or
Charles Schwab now.
Yeah. Or Charles Schwab. Yeah. Like it's it's going to be something like that where eventually I assume that most universities are just going to get in on the moneymaker part because they need to pay their athletes now. And what better way to make more revenue is to sell your name to a company that's going to pay you billions of dollars, and then you can give it to your athletes. Just on top of, putting sponsors on your logo or like on your jerseys at the same time. So I wouldn't be surprised if that happens eventually
not at all.
to Memorial Stadium.
I think jerseys are my hang up, but like TV crews do this in baseball where they put like on the mound, on the backside of the mound, they have like a green screen or something, or they project the team, or not the team, they project the company like for that inning. So like this inning is sponsored by whatever, blah, 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 blah. So,
right.
I mean, that's how they could do it.
NBA did with the when they were projecting like the finals trophy onto the floor,
and they just didn't put it on the floor itself.
Yep.
God, they had to be bullied into it first off, because they didn't show any of the intros, and then they got bullied into showing the intros, and then they got bullied into digitally putting the logo on the court when they can just make it and put it on the court itself, like they have in years past. Like it wouldn't be that hard because they've done it. But that just, it's stupid.
I don't know. If we could, in my opinion, if you have to put ads on the live product on TV to where it's like, you go to an actual game somewhere else and you don't see those things because they're TV projected, that's fine. I don't care. As long as it would, honestly, as long as it gets rid of the stupid ads before and after the kickoff, that'd be a win in my book.
Constant break-ins to action because you need to show an ad.
Yeah.
And it's just,
it's like, I don't know if it would limit it, but at least try to limit it.
Do something.
Yeah. But speaking of Memorial Stadium, that is not where Nebraska will be opening their season here in just 9 days as of we're recording. We are under double digits now for kickoff, which is insane. It's come up that
super exciting.
But our Nebraska preview here for what we really know our sports ball fans come to listen to is how much Kool-Aid did each of us chug during the off season to talk about it here. And I remember notably Zach wrote down some notes that he's going to give here in just a little bit about why we need to not chug as much.
I took down the banner for the video people, so audio only listeners. Again, we're trying to help you out here, except for when Andy flipped you off. Just remember that did happen.
Allegedly it did.
Allegedly, my ass, it happened. I have my little name tag says I'm not buying into it yet. And this is what I'm talking about. So we'll get there. We'll get there.
But yeah, if Nebraska will be opening their season on the road, quote unquote, on the road, 2.5 hours away in Arrowhead at a neutral site game, which will probably be just a home game at Arrowhead Stadium for Nebraska. But they do open the season with Cincinnati here Thursday, August 28th at 8:00 on the old ESPN network, the mothership, because the reason why it's on ESPN is because it's technically Cincinnati's home game. So they are like the network provider for it, which is Big 12, ESPN, billionaire stuff. So
I still don't have to like it.
Yeah, we don't have to like it.
Do we know who's calling the game yet?
I don't think that's been announced yet. I
didn't think so, but I was just curious if we knew who it was.
Kirk and Chris.
What was her name?
There's no way they would be there.
God, what was her name? The most annoying voice, Beth Mowens or whatever.
No. Yeah, she's
just Matt McAfee do it.
No. Please don't.
Just wait until he's actually running the college football.
They already added Portnoy to Big Noon Kickoff. Like what?
Yep.
You gotta add. McAfee's annoying enough, but like, don't add another annoying person.
The one thing I'll give McAfee credit for is at least he played.
No. Yeah, Portnoy is not. And I told you guys, I liked watching Big Noon Kickoff. One, because Fox is like in the cahoots with Big Ten on their network deal. So like Big Noon Kickoff exclusively talked about a lot of the Big Ten stuff, which was like, that's relevant to Nebraska and relevant to
serious analysts.
Yeah. So I'm like, that's relevant to us and how they analyze games through the Big Ten lens. So like, that's relevant for me to watch, even though we arguably just game day. Yeah. And now ESPN is in cahoots with the SEC. So now all game day is all about SEC teams. So it's like, which one do you choose? And then now Big Noon added Portnoy. So it's like,
game day is going to be a lot different. Game day is going to be a lot different though without Corso there. To be fair,
and yes, it is time to put Corso off the set.
Not where I thought you were going. Time to put him out to pasture. Okay, calm down there.
He's just like Lou Holtz. Like those guys at the end, you got to give them the boot. It's Lou Holtz was. Well, he was unaudible. Like, he was not very audible to begin with.
I was going to say, I don't think he ever really was terribly audible.
No, Corso's kind of getting the same way. It's like, you can understand a lot of it, but it's really rough to put him out there when you turn to him and you can see, like, his brain is still working to give up an answer, but, like, it's just not there because he's old.
It did take him a long while to get to his point.
And it's rough, and you're like, it's rough to put him out there. But regardless, back to Nebraska. If you look at a lot of the interviews, obviously, all of Rule and Holgerson and John Butler, all those guys are, going to give their typical offseason coach speak stuff. Last year it was the Chasing 3 documentary stuff that Rule put out. Now he's doing a lot of these walk and talk videos. That he's been putting out, which have been really well done and produced. And a lot of it is not geared to us per se. I will say it's probably geared a lot to the players and future recruits. Just because that's what Rule's done. It's, he's in with the youths is how I phrase it basically.
God, we might have to put you out to pasture after that statement. Good Lord.
He knows what the youths like.
Youths. Are you 80? Good Lord.
I don't know how else to put it. He gets the kids. I don't know.
That's infinitely better. I mean, it's still a little questionable, but in with the youths makes you sound like
We might need to workshop some of these before we record.
My goodness.
I think they're pretty good.
I mean, I love it.
A lot of what I've gathered of what they've all said is like they are really, really hyped on the offensive line. And I mean, rightfully so, they should be. I mean, you got Spindler through the portal, and a lot of your returning guys are back. So as long as they stay healthy, I mean, they've been very bullish on the offensive line being one of the better ones in the country. Now, again, coach speak, but experience wise, I mean, you've got a lot of returning experience, and then you brought in a guy that was on the national runner up last year who wasn't getting time at Notre Dame, but he's still a really good offensive lineman. And he came to Nebraska in Spindler. You know, they are saying that Dylan is taking the year 2 leaps. We'll see it when we see it. That's going to be my thing with that right now. The receivers are, you know, they're very bullish on Key and Barney being their top 2 guys. And Isaiah Hunter, you know, I haven't heard a lot about him. I think it'll be a wait and see. You know, we were hyped on him when he came out of the portal, but I haven't heard a lot about him in camp. Now, whether that's good or bad, I don't know. Tight ends is probably going to be just a duo of whatever the wild card they want to throw at Heydrich, and then hopefully Carter Nelson stays healthy enough to make that leap that we've all heard about of him being the freakish D1 athlete in every sport that he's ever played in his life. With that, but you know, the biggest concern that I've seen throughout the camp is the running back room. And that's they've talked about 3 or 4 different guys, but no one's really been a solid number 1. I mean, you assume it's going to be Emmett, but it's like, can Emmett be your guy you can give the ball to 20 plus times a game? Or is it going to be, you know, 12 plus times and you substitute him out and you kind of do a running back by committee again? And I mean, it can be both good and bad. I mean, you've got now a whole offseason with Holgerson at the reign, and rather than just bringing him in 4 games to the end of the season and trying to figure out, you've got a whole offseason where Dana's worked with the entire offense, Dylan, running backs, and all of that going forward. But who's going to really establish themselves as a running back RB1 and be a workhorse? And I just don't know if any. I mean, Emmett's not an RB1 type 20-plus guy carry, I don't think. And it may not start off that way. We may be surprised.
Shouldn't be.
Yeah, he shouldn't be. So it's going to be very interesting to see how much of, I mean, Dana's, if you look at his historical record of what he's done, I mean, he has a very typical air raid type spread offense. Now, whether they do that or not, probably can't do that as much at Nebraska or just in the Big Ten in general, of just how you run offenses against defenses in the Big Ten. But I'm very curious.
Trust Bill Callahan. The West Coast offense is going to work this time.
Oh, Billy C. Little did we know that might not have been a bad option for a while compared to what we've gone through since then.
Hey, after him was at least Pelini. And
yeah,
like
it was good for
Pelini's faults. We were at least something nationally worth-ish while.
Right.
Ish.
But a lot of, to wrap it up, a lot of what I've seen is they're really bullish on the offense in general, minus the running back room, just because we don't know what that's going to be like or what that's going to look like yet. Because we don't really know outside of Emmett who's going to be the number 2 that can step up and contend for an RB1 or just going to be a filler guy. And they've got a lot of options. It's just who's going to take it. I don't really know until we see it. Obviously, on the defensive side, now you've got first-year John Butler as your DC, and that's a lot of guys, especially up front, to replace of what you lost last year with Jamari Butler, and obviously you lost Ty and Nash, your 2 big guys. So, I mean, that in it to start is just going to be a lot to replace and hard to reproduce that production of what they were able to give you last year. Not saying that they can't try to live up to it, but, you know, I think defensive-wise, you maybe have to set your expectations back a little bit. Now, if we know Matt Rule's track record with Phil Snow, they are very defensive-minded guys first. They will focus on defense and make sure that is their bread and butter, because that's just what Matt Rule's always done everywhere he's gone is defensive first, and then the offense comes with it. And I very much believe that probably Rule and Phil Snow had a lot more to do with defense this time around with John Butler, and he probably just gave the keys to Holgerson and said, "Here, go do what you and Dylan want to do," pretty much this entire offseason. I think Rule has enough faith in Holgorsen. And I mean, he's earned it too, to, have that respect to do whatever you want with the offense and trust Dana. Defense, yes, I think we do need to worry about it a little bit. Just again, the production you're replacing, a lot of the linebackers and cornerbacks you are keeping, and a lot of these, linebackers that there's some William Trent guy that I think they're really high on too. I think he's from Georgia Southern. No, Marquise Watson Trent. There we go. He's from Georgia Southern. He's supposed to be really good. We'll see it when we see it. But yeah, a lot of this is going to be, we're going to see when we see it, we'll see how good these guys are.
I can't wait until after the game next Thursday. And we're like, yeah, so all those takes we had, they're either good or bad. And there's
throwing them out the window.
It's just like, all this is gone. Because Nebraska fans are known to, we never overreact to anything.
We never overreact.
No. Never happened in the history of Nebraska fandom.
I mean, it made it sound like that Nowari was going to play a lot, that 5-star transfer from Missouri. It did sound like he was going to play a fair amount, what John Butler had said last week. So he's probably going to get a lot of playing time trying to replace that role of, Polar Bear or Ty, or one of those two guys, or both of them, with that. And then I think the biggest returner you have at the cornerback safety position is Sierra Wright. He did come into his own at the end of last year, so he is returning. And then Deshaun Singleton's been kind of up and down. Marquise Buford's been up and down.
Hartzog.
I mean, yeah, he had a stellar freshman year, kind of an okay year last year. So hopefully he can make another leap this year, and kind of be your lockdown cornerbacks. And then, we saw Vincent Schaefer's in the bowl game have a stellar bowl game, and hopefully he can just replicate that at the linebacker position again, and just go with that. But yeah, defense is going to be Jeremiah Charles. They've been high on him since they recruited him. He's probably going to get a lot more playing time this year. I think they redshirted him last year. So we'll see.
Let's see if we can finally get that leap from Lenhart too on the line.
Yeah, Cam Len. Yeah. It's, he had flashes when he played. It probably also was hard to play when you're, behind Polar Bear and Ty, who are going to be your starter. So probably hard to get playing time when you're behind a guy that's literally on Zach's team right now in the NFL. I haven't looked up what happened to Nash. I have no idea what he's doing now, but
I actually looked. We're just gonna look him up real quick. Didn't he go to? I'm gonna take a guess. I want to say I thought it was the
Tampa.
Panther.
There we go. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, when you're playing behind those two guys last year, it's tough to get playing time when they're as good as they were. So, yeah, I mean, and when Cam played, he showed flashes that he can be really good and disruptive up front. So, let's hope he just keeps making the leap and does it next year. And then obviously the dreaded thing that we all love to talk about that there's been more optimism about this year is special teams.
I was just going to say, we can't overlook arguably one of I was going to say underrated.
More anticipated hires.
Yes. I was going to say underrated until this last week when freaking Good Morning Australia picked it up.
Archie
Wilson.
Yeah.
I was listening to whatever. I can't remember. Once again, can't remember the name. The new special teams coach.
Mike Eckler.
There you go. That's what it was. He was talking about how, I guess I might get this wrong. I don't quite remember if I got the details right, but basically Archie Wilson was, I kept wanting to say drafted, but he was recruited basically through
by Eckler.
FaceTime. Yeah. And the cool thing with him is I guess he can punt both ways. Like he can punt left and right footed.
Yes. An Australian punter. Yes.
And I'm guessing that he's got a favorite foot. So I would assume his right foot is a little more dominant, but I'm that could be really, really good. But he's kind of taken off in popularity with the Nebraska fandom. One, because he sounds like he's going to be a good punter, at least fundamentally speaking. Mm-hmm. And two, because of his press conference that he had where he came out and said he misses his family. So yeah, so I'm going to be watching him just because that whole interaction's been really cool.
It's one of those things where like you're gonna be excited the first time you see him because it's like this kid's been talked about all off season. At the same time, you really don't want to see your punter on the field a lot either. So it's kind of like a give and take. It's like I want to see this kid punt because everybody's been talking about him, but at the same time, I don't want to keep seeing my punter out there.
Agreed,
I'm still scarred enough that as long as it's going in front of him and not behind him, I'm happy.
Thank you. I will say this though. I want us to have a few punts. It's going to probably happen, but I want to make sure that he gets at least a couple punts because I've never played in Memorial Stadium, so I don't even know what it's like. But you got to assume a freshman that's coming from all the way across the world is going to be like, oh, like, yeah, like I see that there's a lot of people here. But then you get there, and I mean, it's not Memorial Stadium, but it's damn near with Arrowhead, where it's like you see there's just a bunch of people. Like it's got to get in your head a little bit. And I want him to get those jitters out. But I think he's going to be really good.
Too bad we're going to be scoring every drive.
Correct.
I will 1000% take that. As long as we can also confirm with that at least on the first few drives that they're field goals that look good and might be longer. Because was John Hole kicking the field goals at the end of last year?
And that's it was John Hole because Alfano got hurt and they just stuck with Hole the rest of the year. I've heard a lot of back and forth. I mean, I still think there's a kicking competition between him and Albano this training camp. And I guess we'll see who won the job, whoever comes out first for the PAT or a field goal against Cincinnati. I don't know who they're going to go with.
The least nervous play in Nebraska history.
I will say this though. It'll help, I think, having a true. Was it the long snapper? We got a long snapper.
Yeah, when they went out, everybody praised the portal edition because they actually went out and got a place. So it's like long snapper in the portal, and it's like, yeah, a lot of what Nebraska has done the past couple of years has just been like the whole process of getting the ball to the snapper or like to the holder. Because a lot of it's been messed up, even just getting like the ball snapped, and then it messes up the kicker and so on and so forth. But
it's a mess.
Yeah, I mean, even with punts, I mean, that's an issue with punts too. So I mean, yeah, Eckler's been here before, years ago. Before he just came from Tennessee. So he's very familiar with this place, familiar with recruiting here. I mean, it was one of the kind of no-brainer offseason decisions is you needed to get a new special teams coordinator, and Mike Eckler's name just kept coming up every single time. And I don't think there was anybody that Rule probably wasn't like considering and probably wasn't going to take no from an answer to get Eckler back here. So heard a lot of good things about him. I'd imagine Ja'Cory Barney's probably going to be taking a lot of the returns this year. I imagine that he's probably going to be a DeMornay Pearsonell type product because he's fast as hell and he's shifty when he gets the ball. So I'd imagine he's probably going to be your punt and kick returner. And obviously you have the risk of him getting hurt when that happens, but it is what it is. Unless one of the other backup running backs that we don't know about wants to make a play for it. But yeah, I'm excited for
Nelson back there.
Okay, well.
Hey, man.
Now he can catch the ball. It's the running. It's the getting up to a full speed part that's going to be more of the issue.
See, we have time.
Yeah, well,
good work.
In theory, if you run your special teams right, which Nebraska has not done, like punting the ball to the opposite side of the field of your coverage, that was a fun time.
No, that was strategic.
Strategically bad.
In a second half where Nebraska didn't allow a single first down to Michigan State and still lost the game.
something Nebraska ability.
Back when Adrian broke his jaw and then they said it was lupus.
I remember. I didn't realize we had Dr. House working at UNL. Every once in a while, I always think like, oh, this Nebraska abilities thing that we all started out as is like, eventually we'll be able to be like, haha, that's no longer a thing, and it's still here.
It's still here.
If I was good at like Photoshop, I'd put something into my little camera, like right here, it still exists. But I'm not. It's not Photoshop, or whatever,
So yeah, and now we'll get back to kind of the Zach's point and a couple of the points that I'll make. that might hit on Zach's points too, of why, yes, there are obviously optimistic reasons why to chug the Kool-Aid. A little reason to kind of cut back on that is, one is, how does Dylan look? I mean, I think that the entire offense hinges on how Dylan looks this year. Is it, if you get anything that is better, slightly better than he was last year, the offense is going to be better. If you get about the same, and obviously if you get worse than last year, then the offense is going to drag. So a little bit of the optimism holding back would be, yeah, you're concerned, is Dylan going to have a sophomore slump? Is, now that it's kind of like, if you look at as a NFL, one of the NFL rookie quarterbacks from last year going to year 2, I mean, CJ Stroud's a perfect example. I mean, he was still good last year, but he definitely had a sophomore slump. Now, the Texans had an offensive line that was trash too. So beside the point, but Dylan, does he look better than he did last year? And if he doesn't, what does the offense look like when he's not, if he's not, what he's been propped up to be at the same time? So that's a little reason to hold back. I'm still a little skeptical about rules game management too. Year 1, you can excuse it. Year 2, a little bit. Some of those situations last year, like maybe you can excuse it a little bit. I don't know if you can excuse it, especially year 3 at a school, first off, and then how many years has he been a head coach going forward? I just don't know how much more of late game mishap, mismanagement of timeouts, etc. can you afford to have, especially with a program that's lost a lot of stupid close games in the past 10 plus years.
Counterpoint, Andy.
Not always to the coaches, management, but
counterpoint, Andy Reid.
Well, yes.
Granted,
he learned from the School of Clock Management.
Granted, Andy Reid might have a little bit of a cheat code, but
it's called.
All I'm saying is, game management can be smoothed out.
Yes,
I think there were plenty of explainable reasons as to why that was though. We'll see this year. I agree with you though.
It's
fair point.
And a lot of this is, I got to see it first before I believe that it's changed at the same time. But, I'm not saying that Rule isn't the guy here forever. Obviously he has been, a complete 180 from what Scott was. And, it's funny how Nebraska's done that too. It's you went from Bo, you went the 180 from what Bo was to Mike Riley. And you went from Mike Riley to Scott Frost, which, however many degrees you want to spin that. But then Frost, the Rule is another complete 180 of personality, coach style, everything that Frost was not, Rule is. But yeah, I got to see in-game management situations, close game, 2-minute drills, etc., timeout use. How does that look? A lot of the close games we lost last year were not all excessively on Rule, but there were some weird timeouts that weren't used at the same time that everybody was I think notably the USC game too, which was just a weird game outside of the PI that wasn't called. But I think that was one of the examples that Rule, I think, didn't use a timeout that he probably should have, and it didn't work. But you got to see that. And then I think lastly, the last thing that does hold me back is the running back room. I'm very skeptical of what that's going to look like. Because I guess last year, you had it, I guess, at quote unquote RB1. And then we didn't find out about Emmett Johnson until Dana Holgorsen came in and realized how quick Emmett Johnson is. But yeah, I am concerned that if Emmett's not a 20+ touchback guy, one who is, and if you don't do that, what does the offense look like if you don't have a true RB1 that you can count on to run that many times a game? Or if you're not, are you going to split up the passing yards and catches, rushing yards equally if Emmett's going to be your kind of multifactorial guy with that? So those are some reasons that I would not fully chug the Kool-Aid at the same time. But I think a lot of it does hinge on Dylan too, is, what does Dylan look like in year 2? Because the offense goes is how good Dylan looks. And that's going to be the biggest factor, especially if the defense is you expect to take a step back after what they lost last year. Can the offense keep up with that sort of regression? Because the defense kept us in a lot of games last year. We know that. It's just the offense didn't keep up. So if the defense does regress a little bit, can the offense in turn keep up or be better than they were last year? And you hope for that because then they win more games. And can special teams not mess up too, which is.
I mean, how many games would we have won last year? How many games would we have won last year with just
a competent kicker?
Decent special teams.
Decent special teams? Yeah.
Decent special. I'm not even talking good. Decent.
Just decent. More than I would like to know.
Yeah. I always said, like, if my realistic case would have been at least 2, I think. Like, we would, and I'm not specifically remembering which ones. I just feel like, well, I'm pretty sure Iowa would have been
the Iowa game and almost the bowl game.
Yeah.
You saw that blocked field goal and the punt coming from a mile away.
The one game that I thought didn't actually hinge on special teams was OSU, ironically. Because that was when Hull made his like 50-yarder or whatever it was. We were like, oh my God, we might have a kicker. And he looked confident too.
Balled out that game too.
It also turns out though that was
throat slashed in Indiana.
That one kick. Oh, they're a team I'm excited. I think we'll talk about them next week, I'm sure. But I was gonna let Nate go first because I've been known to ramble too. So I will bring up my little spiel at the end here, just as a not potentially non-Kool-Aider here.
I mean, you can talk about the reasons.
I figured we were going to finish on the good vibes, but
well, I was going to say I was going to present it in a good way. I just was saying, hey, I'm not skeptical. I'm holding my horse back a little bit. That's all.
Cautiously optimistic.
Correct.
I will present three pieces of evidence to the listeners here.
Okay.
The one you already know. The one you guys already know. We talked about it a little prior, where I haven't heard a whole lot of off-season national championship talk.
Mm-hmm.
And that is like our bread and butter every year, going into the season to then
for
have our hopes dashed by about week
plus
2.
consecutive years of off-season natty champs.
Where if your off-season is going that well, regular season's probably not going to be great. We've seen that case study time and time again. Pretty consistent results of not good results coming from it. My other 2 pieces of evidence I would like to present. Bryce Benhart, Marcus Satterfield.
Okay, that
regular season national champions.
That does.
You can say whatever you like. I imagine everyone is convinced now.
No. That does play into something I was going to bring up, so I will give you that one.
I mean, Satterfield is still on the staff. He's just not running the offense anymore.
And he's doing his job as tight ends coach.
Yes, which is what he should only stick to.
Yeah, I'm optimistic. I agree that the running game could be an issue. I'm always, I think, just going to be a little cautious too on the offensive line.
Just that's what we've had. That's fair.
Like it should be better, but it's always. I mean, you're one Teddy Prochaska injury.
I was gonna say we've got our glass cannon there, so he's good when he's good, but when he's not good, he's hurt. So
and like the staff has been really bullish all offseason on the offensive line, and yes, that does very much hinge on health.
Yep, and it'll be interesting. I mean, even if Dylan doesn't take a huge step, I think there's a lot of playmakers around him. I mean, you got Corey Barney, you got Dane Key now. If Carter Nelson can stay healthy and kind of get into his role, you'll have Heinrich around. I would imagine they're going to use him as kind of a gadget guy. I think the offense can be fun. You have
in the bowl game of Heinrich.
You have Holgerson, who has a better idea of how an offense actually works.
You saying Satterfield didn't?
Yes.
You know what? Even as someone that was for a minute there, like not a Satterfield truther, but I was like, hey, give him a chance. I'll put my hands up. I was wrong.
Year one Satterfield, I will give him grace on that because you had Jeff Sims, who obviously did not pan out, and then you had to go to Heinrich and run the option like the entire year.
You could have had the greatest. You could have had the greatest offensive head coach in the world, or offensive coordinator in the world.
And even year one of Matt Rule, that offense was putrid, and they still 5 games somehow.
Yeah. So
I should have been more that they won too if they just had a decent quarterback.
And the worst part is everybody at that point was like, "Oh, we should have started Chuba the whole year." It's like we don't know that. Like
No, and then Chuba threw the pick on the Iowa game that lost us the game too.
Yeah.
now, arguably,
that.
I will agree that Jeff Sims should not have been starting as long as he did. I think we all know that now, but that's okay. Like we don't have to. The bad man can't hurt us anymore.
Hey, he led us to Dylan or stuff like this.
Yeah. And we're thankful for that.
Gotta take the bad with the good.
That's true. Well, and coming off of a bowl game win going into this year, I think will be huge. We got all that. We got that extra practice that everybody talks up with bowl games, which is always good. So, and we won the bowl game, like I said. So
Right.
these are positive things that we can take from it. This is why. Go ahead.
I have points to get to still.
Yeah.
Sorry, you sounded like you were giving back to me.
No, the defense. I'm optimistic on, but I kind of have the same optimism with like the offensive line, where like we have our solid players in place, but the depth behind them kind of scares me. If anyone goes down, I feel like there could be some issues there that concern me. And then I think just the overall starting the season nationally televised at the Chiefs Stadium. Nervous. I probably mostly just because recency bias. Our last nationally televised opener in a certain country didn't really lead to a great season after that. But yeah, I think there could be a lot hanging on.
As long as we don't offside kick in the third quarter, I think we'll be doing okay.
It'd be nice to start that off with a win. I think, especially going in, the second year, Dylan coming off the bowl win, starting off the season right is going to be really big because that's going to take a lot of momentum away if you kind of stumble in that first game.
And I will say, like, a lot of obviously the optimism for the team this year, even just the national media, is like if you just boldly look at Nebraska's schedule, I mean, it is very favorable this year. Just kind of like Indiana last year. I mean, Indiana's schedule set up very favorably for them, where their hardest games, I mean, and Indiana did turn out to actually be a pretty good team too at the same time. But I mean, like Nate said, if you get through Cincinnati, I mean, you should, if not will, wins against Akron and Houston Christian. I mean, you go into the Michigan game, theoretically 3-0 on, a suspended Sherrod Moore. And then, yeah, I mean, anything can happen. I mean, it's a Big Ten opener without their head coach. I don't know what Michigan's going to look like because they're going to have a freshman quarterback, a true freshman quarterback this year too. And I think they just lost one of their defensive linemen for the year. That or their offensive lineman, one of the two guys, one of their starters for the year. But, kind of the tricky part, obviously, none of these games are a given for Nebraska either. But, I think their trickiest part of the schedule is going to be their first two road games because it's a road game at Maryland. And then you come back for a short week and then you got to go to Minnesota on a Friday night. So, like, that's already a short week enough where you're traveling to Maryland, coming back, and then traveling to Minnesota on a short week. So, like, those are going to be two games where, like, on paper, Nebraska looks like they should win those, but, like, recency bias, we've never been able to beat those teams recently.
Don't give a damn about what the paper says.
No.
I still think, and maybe we'll get into this a little more later down the line, but I think the last 4 games of the season are going to be the real telling ones.
They're going to be, because then what the team will be looking like at that point. Regardless of the record, I mean, you're going to know what you have and what you don't have at that point of the season. It's going to be over halfway to the point of the season. And yeah, I mean, they're going to be arguably against your toughest opponents the rest of the season with USC, UCLA, who should not be that tough, but you're going to play at the Rose Bowl.
UCLA, and obviously, a surprise team.
Yeah, and then they could be. They certainly, obviously, they kicked our butts last year.
I'd say they figured it out down the stretch.
They did.
I'm a little nervous.
And obviously, a game that Nebraska probably will be no business in is the favored national champ is a Penn State at Happy Valley.
Yeah.
Even if that was in Lincoln, I think Penn State would still be favored by at least
That's
2
in
touchdowns.
late November too.
In Happy Valley.
I
And
mean,
the fact that it's at Penn State means they'll probably be a 3-point or 3-score underdog. Even if it was in Lincoln, they'd probably still be a 2+ touchdown underdog at that point.
I mean, I don't know. I know I said I was holding my optimism back, but I feel like this is a Nebraska team that could actually surprise us. And I'm saying that like even as I'm holding my horse and carriage back. Like I'm just like there's a lot of unknowns, but like I wouldn't say a lot, but there's enough of unknowns where it's like we could either be really bad or really good. Leaning more towards the really good. So
but to that point of the schedule, I mean, it sets up very favorably compared to what next year's schedule looks like when you add Oregon and Ohio State back. At least you get away with just having Penn State this year. It's like your toughest team. Because I mean, they are one of the preseason natty favorites right now because really they only lost like Abdul Carter and they're bringing everybody back basically. So that's why Penn State's been favored. Now, whether James Franklin actually does it, I don't know because he hasn't done it yet for how many years that they've been talking about
until they play
Ohio State. Yeah, and then they'll lose they do every year.
A tradition unlike any other.
But yeah, to Nate's point of your optimism, I mean, you beat Cincinnati like they're favored to do right now. You go into that Michigan game at home, first Big Ten game of the year on Michigan that will not have a head coach, or like they will, but it won't be the head coach. And then I saw a stat. I think Nebraska's going to play 7 new quarterbacks this year. And that's, I mean, the Big Ten is going to be returning, Drew Aller, Luke Altmaier, obviously Dylan. But I think a lot of the other teams are going to be like brand new quarterbacks for their team this year. And Nebraska either plays 7 or 8 of those teams that will have brand new quarterbacks to them. So I think that also adds a little momentum to their schedule of who they face because you're going to be playing teams that have not played you before, either playing in the Big Ten for the first time or not. So yeah, schedule sets up very favorably for them. It's just, can they do it? And that's the biggest question.
Any more else, Nate, before I
kind of took over?
Zach, can they do it?
Okay. Yes, I think they can. However, the reason I'm stemming back on my optimism a little bit is because, like I said earlier, I think there's just enough unknowns. You guys have kind of touched on a lot of it in ways that were spun a little bit more optimistically. I'm at this point where I'm like, I got to see it. And to Nate's point earlier of, it's been the players hyping themselves up. It really has been. And I think they're very high on themselves. Not to say that they haven't been before, but I feel like this year's there's a very different demeanor about the players. So I think there's plenty of reasons for optimism, but I've fallen into that trap enough where I'm like, I'm going to wait because the Cincinnati game is one that I think they should win. But it goes back to, like we said last year, how well do they win? If they look like if they look a little questionable on certain things, which is to be expected, it's the first game of the year. But if they look really questionable on a lot of things from last year, I'm going to be nervous for at least the Michigan game. If they win, but it's like a really close game, Cincinnati, I think, is one you can't really overlook, to be fair. So I think it'll be closer than what we're thinking. But if they win handedly and it's like over by, say, the middle of the third quarter kind of thing, I'll be like, all right, probably still things to clean up as expected, but you get that. On that other side, though, I think what Rule is doing is he's building like you could tell he's rebuilding the foundation. Players want to come here. We're getting all sorts of people in the transfer portal that we wouldn't have sniffed 2 years ago. I shouldn't say maybe, but we're getting players that in theory had no business coming here 2 years ago that are now like, oh, I want to go be at Nebraska. He's doing it right. He's building things back up right. So that in the event that if he does leave, when he does leave, there's going to be a steady progression for the next person or a pedestal that they can work off of to be successful. So the way he's doing everything, and in the walks with coach and things like that, he's being one with the youths, if you will.
Yeah, with the
but
youths.
like you're right. You are right. Is even though it sounded like you're from the 30s when you said it, it does it. You're correct. It sounds very much like he's in tune with what current recruits
More of a
and
player's
people.
coach than
Exactly.
someone who had favorites.
And the media
the
media
guy that
team,
liked golden tea and margaritas a lot. Allegedly.
And the media team is also doing tremendously. I mean, they always do really well, but like these videos and hype videos or stuff are just looking great. So I think there's plenty of room for optimism. Matt Rule is the guy to rebuild the program. I still believe in that. And my overarching thought here is that this may not be the year that we take the biggest step we've seen.
Right.
It may be year 4 or 5, and year 4 is going to be tough because of that schedule. But I see us taking that step. It just might not be the one that everybody's expecting. Like, I'm not the one that's going to say, 10-2, 11-1, 9-3.
No, obviously.
Well, but I mean, I've seen those predictions out there from people. I'm like, I don't know, man. It's like it's a little. Let's get to 8-4.
We're winning the SEC.
That's a good point. I keep forgetting that we are winning the SEC.
We are winning the SEC.
But there was one. Darn it, I lost it. But I think there's plenty of room for optimism. My concern just comes from I got to see it, I guess. It's not really a concern. Right. It's just I'm not buying into the Kool-Aid hype yet until I see it happen. And I think we've got the players to do it is kind of the point.
I mean,
as long as the step is forward and not backward.
Right. Correct.
That's, I think, especially what we're
a lot of what I've seen of like what I've gathered from national media is like their prediction is like 8-4. Which again, it's, I think in terms of how you want it, you could define that as a successful season because, yes, it is 8 wins. It's the most we've had since probably Bo's or Mike Riley's 9-win season. I still think, I think if you got to get to 9 wins to call this like a successful season, in terms of all the hype and anticipation that's been built into it with the schedule, it's hard to say that like 8 wins would be a failure because it wouldn't be because we haven't had that in a while. But at the same time, it'd also be kind of like, well, we talked about it a lot and you still only won 8 games when, you probably could have won 9 or 10. But like to your point, Zach, I got to see it first. I mean, I would still be very happy with 8 wins because that has not happened in a while. But I think
I do remember my other point. So go ahead, but I got it. I remembered it. So
it's the way that the schedule sets up and the way that like we think that the team is going to play. I mean, yes, 9 wins is very realistic out there. With probably my prediction, which we'll get that in a second. But 8 wins very attainable. 9 wins probably should be attainable, which means you're only going to lose 1 or 2 conference games. And one of those could be the Cincinnati game too. Who knows? Or you could lose all 3 conference games. I don't know. However way you want to spin it, but it's just. My point is like what I've seen from a lot of national people is like they're, depending on who you listen to, some of them are going to say playoff bound, and I'm like that'd be nice. I don't think that's it right now, but it would be nice.
Yeah, that's a bit of a reach to me.
A lot of them are being like 8-4, 9-3, kind of in that area. Which again, it's set up for them. It's just can they do it?
Mm-hmm. What I was gonna say earlier is it was kind of to the point of Dylan. Does he take that next step? Mm-hmm. In recent things that I've seen, not that I want to preface this, not that he was fat last year, but he looks like he's slimmed up tremendously this year. Like he looks a lot like thinner and leaner. Yeah. Yeah. No, but he wasn't fat last year. But he looks like he's
AI doc though. I don't believe it.
He's looked like he's leaned up a lot. So that could be good, could be bad.
That's like you telling me Jokic cares about basketball. Like,
but with that,
even
if he doesn't necessarily take the next leap forward, and if he's maybe just a little bit better, or maybe even a little worse, I think the floor that he has, that bringing Dana in, is higher than if he does take that step, and the floor that Dana helps get him to as an offensive coordinator, that's going to be great. But if he's a little worse and does take that sophomore slump, I still think even that technically worse performance will kind of translate itself, or will kind of work its way out, because we'll have an offensive coordinator that is putting him in more successful situations to allow for that downward trend, even if it doesn't. I'm saying if it happens, but I don't think it will. He seems, some of the hype videos that they've been releasing lately, he's made some very nice throws. So
yeah,
and I think but I think that kind of translates into the other part of it too, where I don't know if that's going to translate with the defense necessarily, because we had a really good defense last year. I think we're going to have to really make up on that side of the ball, obviously, but I don't think our defensive floor is going to go down that much to where we can't still be successful. The schedule is really going to help there, though.
That's like I said, the defense I expect to regress a little bit, just because again, it's hard to replace what you've lost on that side. It's just, how much does it regress to where it becomes a detriment, where you need to rely on the offense to score now instead of, I mean, we needed that anyways, but like instead of trying to make it a 1-score game, do you need your offense to score 2 or 3 more times to get you back in the game? So as long as the defense is just manageable, the offense obviously needs to be better, which is to no surprise. And special teams bar is super low. It is not very, very far to clear that one, but
similar to the special teams, as long as they're decent, we give ourselves a lot more of a chance of success. And bringing in Holgerson, who, as long as he brings in a middling enough offensive coordinator job, which would have been miles better than what it ended up being last year with Satterfield.
Yeah,
it in my brain, it looks like it's like we have the pieces again on paper to be successful, even if we see that regression. Yeah. It's just, can we capitalize in the moments that we need to? Right. I admittedly think that they can. I just need to see it.
Right. Yeah, and that's, well, when we get there, we'll get there.
But that's perfect segue, though.
Yeah.
Let's do. I know it says picks, but let's just do predictions. We'll get back onto the picks train next week.
I will cautiously. God, I really want to say 9-3 because I think they can. But it's hard not to look at recency bias and say that, like I said, 8-4 is going to be a really good season still, just because we haven't had one of those in forever. I mean, we've been struggling to get to 6 for 8 years, 9 years now. So I will still be bold and say 9-3 while cautiously subscribing to 8-4 at the same time. I mean, I do think they will get to 8 wins and they should get to 9 wins. It's going to be, what are those 3 or 4 losses? Are they going to be stupid losses to teams that you should beat, or are they going to be like expected losses, or maybe an upset win with a stupid loss at the same time? Like, either you upset Penn State but then lose to Maryland. I could see that very much happening, and that'd be the stupidest season even too, but it'd be really fun at the same time.
Now, I know I just got off my train of saying, don't be as optimistic. However, that I would agree with that, except for we did finally see the team figure it out in the bowl game.
Yeah.
They had every chance to lose that game.
What if Penn State rests their starters like they do in the NFL?
I mean,
what if they treat it like we're already in the playoff? We're not going to play our starters.
Well, once they start bringing in the 48 team playoff, it isn't going to matter anyway.
Yeah, then you might see it. Yeah, I will say 9-3, but I will cautiously subscribe to 8-4. They will win 8 games. They should win 9. Just based on what I know that this team has been hyped up about and what the schedule sets up like in front of them. They should be 3-0 going into Michigan. At worst, should be 2-1, but should be 3. At worst, should be 2-1, but should be 3-0 going into Michigan.
They really should be 3-0.
And it's just, I mean, it's going to set up kind of like what it did last year. It's like you're going to be either 2-1 or 3-0 going into your Big Ten conference game against Illinois, like it did last year, where you'd set up at, you had the night game at Memorial Stadium and everything, and they blew that one. But, yeah.
That
it should be the same scenario. It's like you set up perfectly for your first Big Ten conference game at home. Can you capitalize on it? Because I mean, if you get, and this is obviously chugging a lot of Kool-Aid, but if you get through Michigan 4-0, I mean, there's a reality where you go to USC like 7-0 or 8-0. Obviously, that is, assuming that you win the games that you're favored in and you win a Friday night short week at Minnesota, which is going to be a toss-up 50-50 game to begin with. But
that's one game I just want to see us I want to see us win by like 3,000 points. I know that's not possible, but I just want to see I just want to see it like when you're like 8 in like those old NCAA football games, you just turn all your sliders up and all theirs down and just score like 200 points.
Yeah. But
I just want to see us trounce them.
The roadmap is there. If you get through Michigan, I mean, you realistically could be looking at USC either at 7-1 or 8-0 going into that game, and that's like the black uniform game. Could be a night game at the same time, and depending on how good USC is with Lincoln Riley this year, I mean, that could be set up for a big game too.
To be fair, I think
but again, it is Nebraska, so they could also be 4-4 at that point.
Yeah. well, what I was going to say is if Nebraska is somehow undefeated at that point, I think the entire state will be like, it better be a night game or we're tearing the stadium down.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, and you'll like it.
Just on, you beat Michigan, and then you beat the weird short week trap game. Well, it's not really a trap game because it's just a short week game at Minnesota, a team that you have not beaten in forever too. So that's also the stipulation.
I'm so tired of losing to Minnesota. I'm actually glad we don't open with them. But I'm gonna make Nate fall on the sword last then, because I am gonna ride my optimism-ish train and say 8-4, because I'm gonna say a lot of this season rides on game one. Mm-hmm. How you come out against Cincinnati for Nebraska is 1,000%, I think, going to dictate the rest of the season. Now, that's not to say that if they lose, they can't turn it around, but if they fumble a lot against Cincinnati, I'm nervous, and I don't mean like actually fumble. I'm saying if they fumble the game,
be the quarterback, so there's a start.
If they fumble it too, but I'm saying if you, ironically enough, if you drop the ball against Cincinnati,
I can guarantee you that.
Since the Cincinnati game will be telling, so
Dylan rips off his name tag, Jeff Simpson.
For amigos.
It's like the old Scooby-Doo villains.
Yeah.
8-4. I'm sticking with it. 8-4 with the caveat of I hope I'm wrong and that we win more.
Right. Oh yeah. All of these are caveats to say that we go undefeated.
Yeah, but I mean, like, realistically, I want us to be 9-3, 10-2,
right?
But 8-4.
Well, we'll just go for it,
11-1.
I'm gonna go 10-2.
Okay.
So who are the two losses then?
Penn State would be the obvious one.
Honestly, Penn State, UCLA. I still think that's
that UCL game. I mean, they
stretch
right now, depending on what projections you look at. I mean, they are like a 70% favorite to beat UCLA, but that's a weird game. That's right before the bye week on the road, and
Don't
it's
they
like,
have
and you're looking at
coach too.
Bieniemy is year 2, I believe.
He stayed.
Yeah.
Or no, not Bieniemy. Gosh, who was it? Bieniemy's on the staff though.
Yeah, he was like their running back or something. He played for UCLA.
He's their running back.
Deshaun Foster. There we go.
Yeah.
Deshaun Foster.
It's the new system they're trying.
Here's a new we haven't seen in college football. 52-year-old Eric Bieniemy is out with the starting running back.
I agree with you, Nate. Depending on, I mean, that it's a weird game for that game to be sandwiched in, because depending on how you play against USC, first off, you either play really well or you play really bad. Then you go on the road to UCLA, and after that's the bye week, and then after that's Penn State. And depending on where Nebraska record is at that point, you're either looking ahead to the bye week or looking ahead to Penn State, and not looking at UCLA. And then obviously, like, if they get their butts kicked against USC, I mean, that's going to be a bleak road trip to UCLA at the same time.
And if they, come out and have a good game with USC, that's There could be a really
also
draining
dangerous.
night game against the good top USC team, and you come out win, like you just lose all the energy. You're like all
Right.
hyped up for that,
And it's
going
probably
to
going to be a
UCLA.
a 7. I mean, it'll be a 9 o'clock game here, but I mean, it's going to be a 7 o'clock
Mhm.
game more than likely at the Rose Bowl at the same time. So
Plus, didn't UCLA pick up Tennessee's old quarterback too?
yeah,
So
now whether they know
I
how to use them or not, we'll see.
yeah, I mean their backup sure figured out how
Yeah,
to work
you're
against
right.
us. So.
But yeah,
Yeah,
that's a weird
I'll
sandwich game.
say I'll say 10-2. I would I'll go even different though, because I would be happy if we even finished 7-5. I build
Yeah,
on last year that any step forward, as long as it's a step forward and not a
it'd
step
still be
back.
more wins than we've seen since Mike Riley's
I know
nine win
people will
season.
grumble of like, oh well, we didn't hit undefeated, but fire rule now. But I don't know. This, like Zach said, the rules building it
Mhm.
right, and you just kind of gotta trust he knows what he's doing, even if it's not hitting the pinnacle in year 3.
Yeah,
The worst
You
part,
gotta take what
about
we can.
the year 3 thing is just entirely predicated on, oh, Rule's done
Mhm,
this before. And I'm like, I
right,
don't disagree with that logic, and I think he still will. It just
mhm,
might be a slower trajectory because college football is a little different in the terms of the landscape than it was when he did it at Baylor. It's not that
Mhm.
far removed from it, but it's, still different enough. And I think he's obviously, like we've all agreed, to the point of he's learning it well. I think Rule is doing great at rebuilding. It's just, it might be a little bit longer than year 3,
mhm.
right.
but that's okay. I think that's the thing, is I think Nebraska fans need to be okay with the fact that this might
It's
not happen this year.
Yeah, it's hard to look at those situations and compare it to here because year 3 at Temple and year 3 at Baylor, obviously different
Mhm,
conferences, different setups, and a different era of college football now than he
Mm-hmm.
was back then. So, yeah, like I agree. It also could be like a year 4 jump for Matt Rule at the same time. The schedule won't be favorable next year, but I could also see that being like Matt Rule just needs another year because it's college football is just so much different now than it was 5-6 years ago when he was at Baylor.
I
Um,
don't see Rule going anywhere. Even,
no,
I mean, Penn State would be the only one, and even then,
mhm.
it's kind of the hometown kid. Do you go back to something like that, especially after Scott failed for his own reasons? But
right,
there's a lot more pressure. Where at least at Nebraska,
Mhm,
there's still plenty of pressure, but if he gets fired, he's like, okay, there's no
right.
real tie. And I mean, his wife opened up a business in Lincoln. Like,
Hmm.
they don't seem
They
like
want
they're
to be here,
moving.
right?
So it's
And
gonna be exciting.
he's been very vocal about wanting to be here.
At the absolute barest minimum, the one thing that we all can be excited about is not even just the Nebraska game next Thursday, but as of this episode coming out, which will be on a Friday, the day after this episode comes out, there is college football on TV.
You get Farmageddon,
Go.
baby.
So,
I mean, obviously the Ireland game, they're going to put like a big time uh, conference game in a sense, but like this is like a really good game too of two teams that were good last year
yeah.
too, and you get obviously a rivalry game in the sense too going out there. So just don't. I've always joked about like if head coaches like call up former coaches like what did you guys do for travel and everything. I'm like, don't call Scott Frost because you want to do the opposite of whatever he did.
Easy. Don't call a onside kick in the third quarter.
Yeah, or don't call Florida State because they crapped the bed last year.
Yeah, that's true. Well, that
Hey,
was
you
just
know
the whole
what?
season, though.
You know what?
Yeah,
As long as we don't,
it's not just that game; it was
Florida
all
State
season.
ourselves, I don't know. I'm excited. College
Yeah,
football's back, and
football
then the
season's
week
back.
after that,
Mhm.
basically the week after that, I think NFL's back. It might be 2 weeks, but whatever.
September,
Two.
right?
Like September 4th
September
or something.
4th. Yeah, yeah. So I mean, yeah, that'll be
Oh
Armageddon this
shit!
week.
And that's the Eagles and
Eagles, Cowboys,
Cowboys
Mhm.
kicking that one
not
off.
Brazil. That's Chiefs and Chargers are going to Brazil.
Yeah.
I don't know. You
I don't
guys are
think
going
the
somewhere.
Eagles are they. I didn't think they were traveling.
I don't
They
know if
might
you are
be. I don't
traveling. I know
remember.
the Chiefs and Chargers are going to Brazil.
Either way, we'll talk about it when we're there.
Yes.
All right. Well,
next week.
I don't know. As rusty as I thought we were going to be, it seemed like we picked back up on it pretty quick. So,
oh yeah, we just needed football to come back so we can really delve into it.
That just happens when you're the #1 podcast in the history of the universe. So
that's
right.
Podcast. I think the one thing that like we could sit here and we could do it through baseball season, but baseball season itself is just it'd be long. A 30-minute episode.
Yeah, it's long.
Baseball's and it is long at the moment. So,
and things change in a week in baseball, but like you really need like months at a time to really get a sample size of what each team does.
Well, heck, a bunch of people,
like the Brewers right now are at a like. they're 8-2 in the last 10, but if you go back to the past couple months, there could have been a time where they lost 5 games and we're like, well, the Brewers are crap now. And now basically the best team in the baseball.
Basically anytime after the All-Star break is like, oh, okay. Now it's time to really start focusing in. So
right.
Well, do we have any last minute thoughts that we want to share? We obviously all have the same one, but beyond that.
Excited for football.
The obvious last minute thought of discussion is Skurs by 90.
Skurs by 90.
So, all right. Well, with that, that's been Nate. That's been Andy. I've been Zach. It's going to be that way going forward unless we decide to change our names. So, thank you for tuning in. Just letting you guys know. So, if we're changing our names
on the podcast.
If we're changing our names, well, maybe not.
Maybe not him.
Alex Caruso?
We could get Alex Caruso on the podcast.
It's off-season time for him.
So, with that, though, thank you for tuning in to the Sportsball Podcast. Not just the #1 sports podcast in the world, but now the #1 podcast in the world. Don't fact check us, because if you do, you might be disappointed in some of the things you find. But as long as you don't,
do find that Patreon link.
Yes,
please do find that Patreon.
Don't believe everything AI tells you. If you Google or AI the best podcast in the world, because it's going to be wrong. Because it's obviously us.
Well, its data banks only go back to like 2024 right now.
Yeah,
or so maybe early 2025. So this is new information it hasn't picked up on yet. So
it'll get there.
All right. Thank you once again for tuning in. We are, I'll say back, but we'll see how long it lasts. I'm sure we'll be back. We'll just see how consistent we are, since we're so good at it as it is. So,
yes.
Until next time.